父がいるウルトラの母がいるそして太郎がここにいる空を見ろ星を見ろ宇宙を見ろ彼方から迫り来る赤い日を戦う太郎太郎太郎ウルトラマン太郎
Hello, you are listening to episode 76 of Ultra Q. That's not the order that I usually do it. That felt weird in my mouth. My name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
Hello. Things also feel weird in my mouth as I turn against my will into a bug thing.
Yeah! That shit goes so hard. Also joined by Brad.
I wasn't ready yet, you butthead.
That bit doesn't go hard.
They say shit in other parts of the movie. Why did he say that?
Yeah. Let me... Just a moment of silence while I adjust my gain, because I am peaking.
I am too,
okay.
Actually, funnily enough, so I'm also doing the same.
Okay. I am back again. Let's go. Right. So, yeah, coming up, we have got 2 episodes of Ultraman Taro, and maybe the main... Why am I peaking? What the fuck is going on with my microphone? I've got my gain turned all the way down.
Peaky blinders.
Should I put it, like, further away from me? Just like that? Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Alright. Coming up on this episode of Ultra Q, we have got 2 episodes of Ultraman Taro, but also we have got the main feature, probably, which is we watched The Guyver, which I didn't know had Mark Hamill in it. I did not know he was in this movie.
It's weird how prominent he is on the poster when it's like, he's not even the Guyver.
No.
Well, when your leading actor is the one member of the cast that doesn't have a blue link on Wikipedia.
Oh, you mean the guy who can't act?
Yeah. It's, it's fun. So yeah, we've got all of that coming up. First of all, do we have anything we want to talk about before we get to Ultraman?
I have a few things.
Go for it.
So I was gone last week. I was out visiting my sister in the wonderful North Dakota city of Fargo. I
like the movie.
Yeah. Hey, I bought let me tell you what's in every fucking gift shop. And just general place to go. I bought a magnet of the wood chipper, because I was like, I want a dumb, stupid memento.
Uh-huh.
And when I go places, I like getting little magnets for my fridge, because I'm like, oh, look at all the places I've gone. Memories. I'm... if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, Brad sounds a little under the weather, let me tell you, my nephews, adorable as they are, children are little magnets for illness.
Much like the ones on your fridge.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, my older nephew recently started kindergarten, and tis the season. It's getting a little bit colder, chillier out.
What I like to do with nephews is throw them at the fridge and get them spinning.
Damn.
And and then they stick.
Yeah. But yeah, my nephews both got sick basically a day after I arrived. Then everyone else got sick, including me. I have been testing negative for COVID over and over again, but also, okay, so here's the thing.
It's not necessarily real anymore. Yeah.
So, yeah, well, like, the thing is, I have, since the pandemic started, there have been multiple times where I've gotten, like, oh, this is, like, a kind of bad cold. And I've done, like, the at-home test, and also even, like, plenty of times, like, the drive-through, like, I don't even know if they're still doing these anymore, but, like, the drive up, like, give us your shit in, like, a secured bag, and then we'll, like, test for you. Every single time, like, negative, and I'm just starting to get at this point, like, there's something weird about my inner chemistry that will just always make these things go back as negative. I don't know, but, you know, I'm all vaxxed up, so, whatever, but,
all 5 of those G's.
Yeah. I've been feeling better, but I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, my nose is still, like, needs to go back to normalcy, and my throat is recovering from the damage that was been done to it by coughing up, like, basically for 4 days in a row. So we're over the hump of it, at least, but, we're getting there. But, before I went on that trip, me and my friends decided to watch a movie, and we watched the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which ended up, I'm gonna talk about these two as a pair because they go together. While I was hanging out with my nephews, my older nephew really wanted to watch the Super Mario Brothers movie, so I watched that with him.
Oh, I see.
So I've seen both of the big, more recent video game, like, kids adaptations. They're pretty good. They're better than what we got back in the day, that's for damn sure. I think I like Sonic... So here's the thing. I think if I was a kid now, I would like that Mario movie a lot more. Watching it as an adult, I was kind of like, yeah, okay, I get it. You're doing, like, a Smash Brothers thing. You're doing the Mario Kart thing. Like, I get it. So I think as an adult, who I'm just kind of like, I kind of want to see your movie do some weird freaky shit. I like that Sonic movie a lot, actually. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say I like the Sonic movie more. I don't know how, like, popular that opinion is, but, like, there's, like, a...
I think we're in the minority.
Yeah, because Mario movie is definitely, like...
It's so reference-sprained.
Yeah, which feels... It's weirdly, like, opposite the 90s one.
Yeah.
Which I don't even dislike, but it's just, you know... It's, like, references, it's, like... Mario and Luigi spend most of the movie not in the same room. And, like... Actually, come to think of it, that is the weirdest thing. When I watched that Mario movie, like, last time, it is weird, like, how the build-up to, like, Mario and Bowser's confrontation as, like, the eternal rivals is that Bowser is being told about Mario through, like, like, reports, and he, like, never meets the guy until the final battle.
Yeah. I didn't expect Charles Martinet to show up in the manner he did. Like, I knew he was in the movie to, like, kind of pay respect to him. Yeah. I didn't expect the extended Mario family to be, like, a presence in the movie. Yeah, it's like, alright. Like, I had a good time with it. I think a lot of those actors maybe not necessarily giving it their all, or just maybe not as comfortable with doing specifically voice acting. And they really, I don't need 80s, like,
yeah, that one's weird.
Pop hits every 10 minutes.
I think like Seth Green as DK was better than expected.
Oh yeah. I really like Charlie Day a lot in that movie too.
Yeah, like, I think the DK and Luigi in that movie are good. Former Tenacious D member Jack Black as Bowser is pretty good.
I know I've gone on reference in this movie saying that I think, like, Anya Taylor-Joy is one of my favorite actors working right now. I actually kind of think she didn't do her best as Peach. Like, it was okay. Like, it wasn't bad, but I was just kind of like, I don't feel the, like... I don't feel like she really gave it her best, you know?
Yeah.
I just had to look this up to make sure I wasn't going mad. I think it's very funny that the idea of Seth Green Donkey Kong. It was Seth Rogen. But Seth Green's a very funny pick.
Yeah.
You know what? There's probably a reason I just got them mixed up.
I auto corrected. I knew what you
sets.
meant, but yeah.
The two sets.
Oh, what? It's better than Seth MacFarlane Donkey Kong.
That's gotta be true, surely.
Yeah.
Which Family Guy voice would he use?
Brian.
Yeah, probably.
Speaking of Seth MacFarlane.
What?
You know you barely talked about the Sonic movie, but I guess you gotta use this segment.
I don't honestly have much to say. I think that them making it a fun road trip movie where Sonic's kind of a weird freak alien that finds a family, and then Jim Carrey's doing whatever the fuck he's doing is robotic. Great, I loved it.
Yeah,
I think it's a lot of fun.
I'm curious how you feel about the sequel.
I am too. Me and my friends want to watch it at some point, but we just need to find a time.
Idris
to do it.
Elba as Knuckle is still such a bizarre and wild choice that somehow still works.
I've heard he's really good.
Yeah,
So
it's a good performance.
Yeah, I do. The only thing I have about that movie that I'm kind of like, is the Olive Garden paid placement is so real. To a point where I found it almost a little distracting, and I kind of wish they exaggerated it and how ridiculous it gets more.
Was it Code? Was it? Oh, so it wasn't quite Code Geass levels. It could have leaned in harder.
It's almost there. It's so close to getting there. But the
Code Geass level is so perfect.
Nothing will ever make me more mad than sitting down to watch the Lelouch of the Resurrection movie, having realized that just minutes prior, I had put in an order to get Pizza Hut for lunch that day. And I was like, God fucking damn it.
They got you.
They did.
Ghost Divers is starting their Code Geass season, and they're like, we're making sure to watch the Pizza Hut cut.
Excellent. Good.
See, because I had that thought too, that I was like, did I think to watch Code Geass because I decided to get Pizza Hut today? Like, subconsciously? Is that what did it?
You already intended to watch?
Yeah!
when I eventually watch Code Geass, it will be with the Pizza Hut.
Good.
Mark my
Good.
words.
It's essential.
It's a crime they got rid of it.
That she's addicted to Pizza Hut.
I still need to watch that fucking sequel TV series thing that they made, because I think that's done now. So
yeah, people didn't like it.
Sounds like no, you do not.
Oh no, that means I do.
I get that.
Oh well, rip.
I've watched everything else Code Geass related. I might as well. I see. What I really want to do is, I don't think it's fully translated, but I really want to play that fucking PS2 visual novel where you play as some fuck in the academy and you get to befriend all the weird Code Geass characters
without knowing what's going on.
You get roped the fuck in and get to make some big ass decisions that lead to some really ridiculous alternate endings, from what I hear.
Okay, nice.
If I was making that game, I'd just make it so you're always on the outside and had to like react with like half information that the audience would know through dramatic irony.
Yeah. I think you get a Geass power at some point.
Oh.
So
is it save?
That would be fuck.
That's the fucking meta. That's the fucking stupid meta shit that someone would do, being like, "Oh, I'm smarter than visual novels."
Someone put it in ReZero in fucking Code Geass.
Yeah.
That'd be something. I think it's like in fiction more so power, though, tragically. Probably for the better, actually. But
I bet it's still not great.
No. I used the protagonist as an icon for a rogue for a D&D campaign one time.
Okay, now I have to see what this motherfucker looks like.
See, here's the problem: is I don't remember what he actually looks like. What his actual name is?
Visual novel.
I think it's called Lost Colors.
Okay.
Oh, like the OP.
Rai is his name. R-A-I.
Okay, R-A-I. Right. Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
This is, well,
Keep him in the chat.
very Code Geass looking.
Yeah, specifically it was like a more chibi looking version of him that I think was made for a mobile game that
I see.
It just looked like a white-haired anime boy more than
the
Code Geass style, the Clamp style.
I wonder what would happen if Code Geass was written by Clamp and not just the character designs.
Probably, I don't know if it'd be better, but but I'd be interested. Anyway, speaking of Seth MacFarlane.
We almost escaped.
I did not care for Megalopolis.
He's in what? Is Seth MacFarlane in that movie?
No. What I'm saying is that Megalopolis insists upon itself.
Oh, okay. I understand now.
This is a movie that I didn't even know existed until, like, yesterday.
Oh, that's so funny. That it is honestly genuinely kind of wild that for someone of his stature, that Francis Ford Coppola just is making a movie that very well could probably be his last considering his age, and it's like opening to like 5 million at the box office, and is probably going to be in streaming by the end of the month. So I was feeling good enough yesterday to mask up and actually go to the theater to see, like, fucking Megalopolis, not coughing or sneezing or anything. If I was like, if I have any litany of this still being in my system, I'm not fucking going, just because I don't want to be an asshole. But I was like, okay, no, I should be good. So I went to a fairly empty theater and sat down and watched a movie that I've been hearing weird murmurs about for the last month or so, or last few months, I would say, as it debuted at, like, film festivals, and people said it was a hot mess. Bunch of stuff came out about, the director, Francis Ford Coppola, being weird on set with extras, like, just grabbing women who are in, like, nightclub scenes and, like, kissing them and then laughing about it. There was a weird thing where the Twitter for the film put out a trailer where they put in a bunch of negative critic quotes from his previous movies, only for people to look up the quotes and learn that they were AI generated and not actually real negative quotes about his movies.
Okay.
And it's just odd. And this whole thing just sounded like a disaster all the way down. I was like, I kind of want to be here to experience this. There's also the big question of how is this movie, for its broader release, handling the live performance acting segment of it. Because when this movie was first shown, there's a scene where Adam Driver gives a press conference. Then someone in the audience stood up and started speaking to on-screen Adam Driver, and he started responding. Guess what's not in the general release version of this movie?
And any of that?
So apparently if you go to select IMAX screenings, they recreate it, which means some fucking poor theater employee has to memorize lines and then read it off to Adam Driver on screen. I did not get that. So they just shortened that scene and cut out that part for the broader release. So
imagine you stand up to do the bit and someone throws popcorn at you.
Shut up, I'm trying to hear the movie. That very well could happen. So this is also, importantly, this is a movie that he's been trying to make for allegedly like 4 decades or so. The closest it got to being made...
Maybe you should have waited another decade.
I think only the angels would be seeing it then. So I think the last most recent attempt he had at making this movie came in 2000, when he had reworked it to be about the aftermath of a disaster of a satellite crashing on New York City. And then 9/11 happened, and he's like, I think we should just scrap this version of this movie.
Oh, lol.
Yeah. And he finally got it made. Apparently he had a hell of a time funding it. He sold off some of his, like, wine vineyards, because I guess that's the thing he's involved in, and he just basically funded it himself. This is a movie that feels like it's been gestating in someone's mind for 4 decades, in a bad way.
Yeah.
it's a fucking mess. So this movie, more broadly, is a movie about what if New York City, but also it's all like Roman aesthetics, and we call it New Rome, despite the fact that like the Chrysler Building and Statue of Liberty are both referenced by name. And we just call it America too, also. So like a mix of like imperial aesthetics going on, and it's about the end of empire.
To be fair, that is what the founding fathers were explicitly all about.
Yeah. And it's definitely about that. Like this is a movie that's questioning like what is the role of creative work at the end of an empire, but also like how do we envision more sustainable ways of living that are going to be better than what we currently have now. And there are elements of this that actually work and I think are really good. There's one through line throughout the movie that I actually think rings true the best, and it's about time. And that part of it feels like an old man who knows that he doesn't have a lot of time left on this planet, considering, like, how does time restrict us as people who want to create things, but also as people who want to make sure that we're not fucking over the people that come next. Lawrence Fishburne is great in this movie. He plays the main character's chauffeur. And he gives this really wonderful speech about, like, how people are always talking about how they're out of time. We don't have enough time. We can't buy time. And that also kind of segues into this central debate that the two leading figures of this movie, Adam Driver, who is playing Caesar Catalina, the grand architect who has developed this sci-fi metal that he's going to use to make the world's most walkable futuristic city ever, that literally just looks like the Society If whatever Utopia meme. It's so fucking funny. Every time they showed us like the future, the Megalopolis sci-fi city, I kept dying because it's so goofy looking and absurd. Versus Mayor Frank Cicero, who is all about the now, and oh no, you don't understand, we need to feed people now, and we need to worry about the now.
Wait. We got Caesar Cataline and a guy called Cicero? Okay.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Subtlety is for cowards.
Okay.
And also, don't forget, we have Nazi cousin Claudio, played by Shia LaBeouf.
Well, okay.
Who is getting the mob all, and by mob I mean the masses, capital M, all riled up. Okay, my other takeaway from this movie, real quick. I think Francis Ford Coppola has, like, been aware that there have been riots and protests the last, like, decade or two.
Doesn't know anything about them.
But doesn't know why they're happening or for what reason. It's so weird. Because it starts as, like, protesters that are explicitly said within the script, like, oh, a lot of these are immigrants who are recently, like, new to America. But then get swayed by the seductive forces of the far right, to serve their needs, because they're angry that their homes are going to be destroyed and they can't feed their children. But then they go back to being like the voice of the people. It's so fucking weird. This is the most grandpa we need to put you back to bed movie I've seen in a minute. And like for every one bit of like, okay, yeah, I can see how someone who is deeply concerned about the direction of America and its political landscape and its people, like, I can see some flickers of, like, okay, there's some real concern here and some real thought put into, like, what do we do for the younger generation to make sure they're okay? But the rest of this movie just makes me feel like I'm talking to the grandfathers I never knew in my life, being like, what the fuck are you going on about? What are you reading, Grandpa? Please stop. Imagine if your grandpa learned what a walkable city was and, like, read one tweet thread about it. Is kind of the vibe of this movie.
I see.
And it's just a mess. There are some really good performances in it. I think Adam Driver is all right. I should also say, another thing came out about the production of this movie. This movie was extremely like, we're just gonna let the actors do whatever the fuck they think is great in the moment. And I think this is a fantastic example of how sometimes, in the right context, that can work great. Other times, you need to tell people, shut the fuck up, follow the script.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf needs to be shot for this one. It's so bad.
You know, I think there's probably like a lot of reasons for him to.
Yeah. That being said, Lawrence Fishburne, think he does a good job. Juan Carlo Esposito, doing pretty good. Adam Driver's all right. I usually like him when I see him and stuff. Aubrey Plaza kills it too. But I think Aubrey Plaza and Lawrence Fishburne really nail their parts and what they came for. Shia LaBeouf is just fucking terrible in this movie.
Remember when he was almost the second Indiana Jones?
Oh yeah, that is a thing.
I haven't watched the fifth movie because I heard it was terrible, but I also heard they just killed him off screen.
I keep forgetting that
So funny.
I keep forgetting that new one came out.
Well, you know what? They didn't do a good job selling it.
Yeah.
Or making it, from what I've heard.
I do still admire Harrison Ford's dedication to telling people that no, you can't be Indiana Jones. Fuck off.
It's pretty good.
I love the contrast between like Harrison Ford as Han Solo versus Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones.
Oh, one he just doesn't care about.
Yeah, he's just like, shut the fuck up.
That's pretty good.
Anyway, Megalopolis.
I'm trying to think of anything else I have to say, and really, so here's the thing. This is a terrible movie. I had a great time. I actually do recommend everyone go watch this piece of shit. It kind of is one of those things that really needs to be seen to be believed. The ending is one of the most ridiculous fucking things put to screen I've seen in a minute. Yeah, it's probably going to be in streaming before the year wraps, if I'd had to guess. I don't think this is going to last long in theaters at all. So I do recommend people go watch it. But yeah, just not a great film. And I think maybe if this had been made around the time that it would have been made, it would have. There's a version of this movie that I could see, especially for the time it would have came out. Maybe asking some very, very good and pointed questions. I think having it linger for so long in his brain did not do it any favors. And it's just a confused mess of simultaneously issues that feel like they are so out of date and no longer in the conversation. And just like really off base and weird takes on contemporary, like the contemporary political American landscape, that I'm just like baffled at the state it's in. Also too, I should state, like Shia LaBeouf simultaneously like, analog to the Nazi like contingent of the American political landscape that wants to do a fascist takeover, also spends a considerable amount of the movie doing schemes while dressed up as a woman. And I'm just like, what are we going for here? Yeah, so fucking mess of a movie. So yeah, that was
Nice.
This is all I had.
All right, Mel, what you been up to?
Oh, I thought Brad was going to talk about the makers as well.
The Makers.
The OVA we both watched.
Oh. Yes, we did watch Kite.
Yes.
So.
Oh, I did not watch Kite. I want to watch Kite. I should have watched Kite. Rip.
I think it's worth a watch. So.
Yeah.
Kite is one of those things that I also feel is extremely... It is one of those, like, oh, this was important to the early American anime fandom, maybe doesn't have as much impact in Japan things. And it's kind of had a reputation. There's a reason Discotek rescued this license. and brought it to Blu-ray, which is why I decided to go and watch it. And
Yeah, I watched
sounds
it
like you were
because
interested
I had it
too.
on my collection for a while, and Brad was watching it, so I was like, well, I guess I'll watch it now.
So I've seen this movie before, and I've honestly been kind of, I should say more broadly, I've been itching for like that late 90s, like neo-noir, modern day, like grimy anime aesthetic a little bit. So I was kind of itching to watch this movie. Like I was really keen on giving this a rewatch when the Blu-ray came in. But Mel, how did you, first of all, what version of the movie did you watch? OVA did you watch? And how'd you feel about it?
So, I watched like this is my first time, so I was like, well, I know what people say about certain scenes, but
this is an OVA that either has porn or doesn't.
Yes.
It was, yes. Specifically, I guess the long story short is that Guy kind of vaguely had an idea floating around for making like an action, like what if teenage girl was in the criminal underworld as like a sicko hitman thing, and then got it funded because a hentai company was like, hey, we want you to make a thing for us, and he's like, okay,
yeah.
this is how I get funded for this.
This is classic stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I'll watch the uncut version, and then if I ever want to revisit it, I can make a judgment after the fact of like, well, I'll watch the version without it, just because like, what if I watch it for the first time, I may as well see like the most complete original version. Was my logic. And like, it's weird because I feel like both the plot weaves those stuff in, to a degree where it feels weird to not have them. But on the other hand, it doesn't make them any more or less uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah. I think, is it all of the sex in this is not consensual? Like it's rough.
Yeah. And like there's like it's going for something with it, but also is like both. Yeah, it's supposed to be uncomfortable because the subject matter, but also because of who's funding it, it's still like to a good degree titillating, which you can't avoid making it feel gross the other way.
Yeah. It's not an easy watch. I don't know if before this I had ever seen the uncut version, and I think I maybe had thought I did. But on the Blu-ray, there is a very good breakdown of the release history of Kite and all of the different versions of it. There's like 5. The Blu-ray comes with 3. Because like 2 of those extra ones are like barely any different, basically.
Yeah, because I think it was originally like released as a 2-part OVA, but like I watched it as like a 50-minute movie, basically.
Yes. And I think I watched what is called the international cut the first time I had seen this, which includes some of the nudity and implies... New
Zodiac trees.
That's
an FF12 joke.
Sorry, I didn't hear it. It includes like enough of the like nudity and like sexual implication that like you can tell what's going on without actually like showing it or making it a focus. So I think I had thought previously I had seen the full version of it. I don't think I have. But I watched it this time and I was just like, yeah, I guess I'm happy I saw that version of it just to know, but I don't think I'm ever going to revisit it because it's hard to get through.
That's my feeling. It's like, yeah, I'll probably, if I ever want to watch this, I'll do it like a more cut down version, because I now that I've seen it, I'm like, well, that's unnecessary for me. I don't need to see it.
The action is sick as fuck, though. I do like the action a lot in these.
Yeah, like for context, how I got like interested in this years ago was there was a Twitter post, a tweet. Fuck, X is poisoning everything.
Damn.
But there was a tweet from an account called Porn Out of Context, and it was just a fight scene from Mezzo Forte, and I was like, well, shit, I guess I gotta watch this. And so I was like, then I found out like Kite came out first by the same guy, release order wise, and so I was like, well, I guess I'll watch that first, but then never got around to it.
He's got a new movie coming out.
And that was also part. That's also part of why I was thinking, oh, maybe I should watch it, because like both Brad got the Blu-ray and that movie got announced.
I have a sneaking suspicion that the release of the Kite Blu-ray and the reveal of the trailer for his new thing are not accidental.
Yeah, it makes sense. I will say, for whatever reason, the file, Blu-ray in my collection was... There were a few moments where, for whatever reason, it was mostly in 1080p, a high-quality remaster, and then sometimes it just cut to, like, for a scene, like, the most, like, 240p image. And, why?
They lost some of the footage. They talk about it in the Blu-ray special features, but when they remastered it the first time, they had an issue where just like a lot of the original master was like just gone or destroyed. So there are just cuts of it that are going to look rough no matter what you do. And I will say it's still noticeable in like the most recent like edition of it that they did, but they like the discotheque really cleaned it the fuck up, which is nice. But you can still tell during some of those like sequences, like, oh, it suddenly just looks like ass for 2 seconds.
And not the kind where it's, the makers.
No. So the thing I think I know, I might not know this. This might be a lie, but the thing I think I know is that both Kite and Mezzo Forte are rapey, but like the Mezzo Forte is like way more. This is completely not even tied into the.
Yeah, that was my impression. Like I'm like kind of 50-50 on whether I'll just watch the uncut version for similar reasons. But at least for like Kite, it's like there's like plot relevance. It's just they don't have the cut versions is like I presumably like it's obviously not like excised from the plot, but they don't be as gratuitous with it.
Yeah, like this is a movie about teenagers who are being exploited by nefarious adults and them trying to break free from it. Like it's very like core to what they're doing. Mm-hmm.
It's funny that I watched this immediately after the movie we watched for today's podcast on Friday night.
What a difference.
What a difference. Surprisingly.
Yeah. I will say also, keeping it vague, that ending fucking still hits. I'm just like, damn.
It hit me too. Just like, damn, they did that after all that. And then like, I don't know, just the last shot, the way it just kind of like abruptly cuts.
It's haunting. I love it.
And like, it's up there with like Solaris in terms of like last shots that make it go, oh, okay. Yeah, it's a lot. Bleak.
Sick.
Cool fight scenes.
Yeah.
I'll probably get around to Mezzo Forte and we'll see if I'm sticking with the makers.
Sometimes you give characters guns that look like Nerf toys, and then you see what they do and it's like, oh, actually no, this is sick as fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
I still haven't seen Mezzo Forte. I should watch it.
Yeah, we can do that maybe next time you're here.
Yeah, I'd be down. I think it's like short, too.
Yeah.
So
also was looking at this director guy's like career and felt like a weird discovery where one of the first seasonal animes I watched in like the early 10s was a show that he was the director of, and it's extremely like one of the most like this is a show from that era that nobody remembers but me core, which was Galileo Donna, the weird show about 3 sisters who were descendants of Galileo and weird treasure hunting shenanigans. That is bad, and they had to cut the episode count down in half apparently production wise, which probably explains some why it's bad. But it is weird because it's like, oh, that's the show I remember from when I first got into anime, and it's this guy. What?
So that's the thing I feel like I've heard about this guy is that like after he made his like really successful OVA stuff or whatever, he's been kind of trapped in like working on or being a part of like kind of whatever TV stuff.
Yeah, and
has been having trouble funding his new thing that he's finally made.
Because I also saw like, and there was another show he did like after Galileo Donna called Wizard Barristers, which is a show I watched 2 episodes of before going, this sucks, and I dropped it. And based on what everyone else has said, that show does indeed suck. But yeah, That was a cool experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do we have anything else before we?
I mean, I got some stuff. I've been weirdly like movie promoted, lately. But I'll try and keep it brief.
Go for it. Because I've got literally nothing.
Okay. So firstly, over the past couple weeks, I've been watching like, I guess you call them like a series of 4 movies, which I'm lumping together, both for like the creative voices involved and also the fact to some degree they're like mostly the same movie. It's like a bunch of 70 movies by British director Kevin Connor in collaboration with the American actor Doug McClure. 3 of which happen to be based off of what's his name again?
I do not know.
I'm looking it up. Novels by Edgar Rice Burroughs.
I see.
Tarzan.
Yeah. Did you know that there's like 24 Tarzan novels?
No, I believe it.
I was like, how do you write 24 novels about Tarzan? And then I was like, oh no, wait, I know someone who wrote 24 novels about Araragi, so maybe I should.
Listen, a lot of shit happens in the jungle.
Yeah, Donald Duck shows up sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movies are in order. The Land That Time Forgot, At Earth's Core, The People That Time Forgot, those are the Edgar Rice Burroughs ones. And then they're not based on anything, Warlords of Atlantis. And like they're all by the same director. They all more or less star the same guy. And they're all sort of like adventure kind of serials where it's like some guys, for various reasons, end up in a strange place with some strange creatures. And sometimes often there's like an oppressive hierarchical society, and then they do something about it, and then they leave. So, it's not really heavy on like the plot stuff. It's not like the most crazy. But it's cool just to like look at like some cool special monster effects, like creating some weird dinosaur stuff. The first one, Land That I Forgot, it's kind of interesting because it's like set up as like a British. It's World War One, and like a group of British soldiers plus 1 American for some reason, like hijack and mutiny like a German U-boat. And then there's some back and forth before they decide, well, we're kind of stuck together, so maybe we should just cooperate, as they kind of end up on this random island where there's dinosaurs for some reason. And then there's like some, cooperating and getting along to try and like escape this island, and stuff happens. I think that was fun when it was At Earth's Core, where it's like very abruptly starts where like a scientist and his rich American benefactor create this big drill machine, and they dive into the ground, and they discover a strange world, presumably at Earth's core. Yeah, there's like some cool, like weird psychic pterosaurs ruling over the society for some reason. The scientist guy is played by Peter Cushing, and that's fun. Here's this good clip from the movie. I'm gonna get that post on Twitter. Yeah, this one has some pretty good effects because it's more like, I think like the first movie had like puppet effects, but like the second one is like more like suit animation, like the Toho stuff. This stuff is not up there with like the Toho and Super Eye stuff of the era, but it's kind of neat.
This clip.
This is something.
It's goofy. I don't think they're necessarily good movies, but they're fun. Some eyebrows-raising stuff for sure. Being 1910s novels being adapted into the 70s.
Written by known fan of eugenics, Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Yeah.
You can't mesmerize me. I'm British.
This is really good.
I'm dying. This is killing me.
This was probably the most fun one. The third one, People Time Forgot, is like really kind of nothing. It's like a sequel to the first one, where like the friend of the protagonist of the first movie was like, well, we gotta go to a rescue mission, and for whatever reason the antagonists are samurai.
Okay.
I heard that like the studio involved with these movies, except for the last one, as you'll understand why very shortly, was shutting down and dying, and there's not as much of an adaptation of that book as they initially planned, maybe. And maybe they were just like, well, we got these samurai props, we'll use them. It's kind of like the most rote or whatever one. And the third one's got some decent special effects, where it's like, original script, not based off a book. It's about like, some divers in like the 30s go discover Atlantis, and Atlantis sucks because ruled by aliens from Mars who want to, their goal is to get back to Mars and to reach the Castle of Science by piling up the bodies of World War II or something.
Of course.
Yeah. They they do the stuff. And yeah, I think the first two are probably, in hindsight, like the best ones and most worthwhile watching. Though I think the Atlantis one's decent enough too. It's really kind of like the People That Time Forgot. That's like, you don't really need to watch this. This is kind of worthless. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. Just kind of like, this is what some Western people are doing with similar like toku-ish stuff in this era. Maybe racist in different ways, even though there's like no actual like racial minorities appear in these movies. Just the colonial attitudes.
Yes.
Literally everyone in this is white. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it was interesting as an experience. I don't necessarily like need to go watch these again, but I think if you're like curious about some like toku-ish stuff, like just want to see some neat monsters, they're decent enough fun.
Yeah.
Especially for that one movie with Peter Cushing. And I had planned to watch like 2 other movies for this week, but like one fell through last night because I was extremely tired. So I'll talk about the other one I did see. And that was Name of the Rose, an 80s movie based off of an Italian novel, I think. Starring
I think you'll find it's based off a a manuscript that was a book that was found, discovered, and then lost again, and so you can't prove that the book doesn't exist.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I've read The Name of the Rose. The Name of the Rose fucking rips. Is the movie good? I
think the movie is good, but I also got the impression that a lot of the sauce of the book you can't really put in the movie.
No,
that's like 2 hours.
My number one thing that I do when I tell people they should read The Name of the Rose, and then they're like, would I like it? I'm like, well, that depends. How does this sound? The first 100 pages of The Name of the Rose is dedicated to meeting, one by one, a series of increasingly repressed guys. And then there's a murder mystery involving all of them.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard that like the first part of that book is like infamous for like, well, can you get over this hump? Then you're in for banger. But if not, that's your fault.
To the wise, it ain't a hump. It's good.
Yeah. After watching the movie, I was like, I should probably get around to the book at some point. But I have been wondering if I need to put some distance between it, just because it is a murder mystery. So I don't know
has the movie educated you about the different I don't know where they'd fit this in a movie, but there is absolutely, running alongside the murder mystery, there is just a historical fiction plot about a bunch of Franciscans and Dominicans fighting over who gets to be in charge of like
the church,
the Christian world.
It's in the background. It's like there's only so much time they can spend on it, but it is like there. Like there's like
Yeah.
there's like there's gonna be like a council. They're like gonna do like a debate kind of thing, and you get a little bit of the debate, and you get a little bit of like acknowledgement of like, you know, there's a world of, you know, class conflict and poverty. The peasants are not portrayed flatteringly, I will say.
Okay.
But Sean Connery is pretty good. He's fun. It's kind of impressive the degree to which they made basically all the monks really ugly and frightening looking.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Just really some messed up guys, all in on their faith. Yeah, I feel like there's always like there's a bit of like the, you know, poor versus wealthy elements are there, and also like a bit of theological stuff in there. But I get the impression that like the novel, on account of being a novel, it just is allowed to spend more time on that stuff.
Yes. It's the. I think the. Yes, it's very good at immersing you in, this, you know, the lifestyle that they lead. Like the opening of, like, the book is divided into the classical divisions of the day of monks. Like the chapters are named according to what time of the day the chapter is set.
Okay.
But like with the, I can't remember what they are. If I had the book to hand, I'd be able to tell you. But it's like before any of the novel begins, it just tells you, by the way, these are like the time of day according to a monk at this time in Europe, in this area of Europe. And you better remember these, because that's what all the chapters are called, and they're going to tell you what time of day it is.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I do know this was a influence on Pentiment, which is a game I need to play.
Same.
I get the impression that Pentiment is a bit more, at least maybe compared to the movie, I don't know, but the book is maybe a bit more receptive to the perspective of the lower classes. But
I don't know. I'm not actually sure what you're referring to when, like, is kind. I'm like, I don't know which bit of the book you might be talking about.
I just think that like the portrayal of like the peasants is not very flattering in the movie.
I don't know that there are any portrayals of peasants in the book. I don't.
I mean, there's there's this girl that the assistant likes.
Oh,
protagonist.
Oh, I think the portrayal of her in the book is perfectly sympathetic.
Okay, it may be. Yeah, I can't speak of the book, which is why I'm not sure how much is in the movie versus the book.
I definitely think the book kind of adopts this perspective of, one, sucks to be a peasant. Two, sucks to be a woman, bro.
Yeah. Thinking about the line where like, this is the movie where like, Kristen Slater, the protagonist, talking to his mentor Sean Connery, he's like, I think I might be in love. Is that a bad thing? And they're like talking about like, is love good? But like Aquinas meant love for God kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And Sean Connery is like, speaking as a human and not a monk, post a scripture that says that women are evil, but he's like, in my opinion, I don't think, God would have made something so wicked if there wasn't like something good coming out of it. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Here's the thing. That kind of thing is in the book, but I definitely think that this is just really leaning into the perspective of like that is. The Name of the Rose is very serious historical fiction in the sense that you're not gonna get, on the one hand, you're not gonna get people who have like, if you get a character who is like has like similar-ish perspective to like a modern reader, it will be it won't be that close. It will be very different and strange, and it will be because of very specific reasons.
Yeah.
Not. I mean, I never thought of him as, when I was reading that book, I was fully picturing like Christopher Eccleston.
I think I heard that like the director and maybe even the author of the novel were like, we really do not want to get Sean Connery to play this guy. And then like a bunch of people auditions, and eventually Sean Connery was like, please let me audition. And then he auditioned, and they were like, well, fuck, we can't. He's the best guy.
Fair play. Sometimes you've been around the block. Sometimes you're pretty decent.
Extremely funny. His name is like William of Baskerville. Like, I'm like, come on, shut the fuck up.
It's so good. He's a Sherlock Holmes monk, and his name is William of Baskerville.
I think also part of the reasoning was like, listen, he's already Sherlock Holmes. You don't want to also make him James Bond.
Fair play. Play.
But yeah, I did enjoy the movie. I think, I would like to read the book just based on what people say of it. I'm also like, should I wait a bit? Because I'm like, I know what the mystery is now. And I don't know how much.
I would say, a lot of the book's enjoyment doesn't necessarily come out of trying to solve, like doesn't necessarily come out of you, the reader, trying to solve the mystery along with the characters.
Okay.
I don't think you need that for the book.
Okay.
Obviously it's that's part of the fun of a mystery, but the Name of the Rose is layered with so much other stuff on top of that I think you'd enjoy the book. Okay,
I'll put it on the list then, and maybe do it sooner rather than later. But also, I got other stuff on the pipeline.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna be checking up every week. Be like, so Mal, you read The Name of the Rose yet?
I feel like my brain has like refused to let me read as of late. It's like getting bad.
I've been like trying a thing where I'm like using an audiobook alongside the actual text to read along, because like,
oh yeah, I know some people who do that. Yeah,
this is like a good way of like allowing me to read and retain the information in a way or the other.
I like recently, like the last few months, and honestly, part of it I think is maybe just because I'm at a point with my job where like I'm basically multitasking 8 hours a day, so I'm like always like bouncing between emails, other tabs, chat, like different people need me for different things, that like it's just getting harder for me to focus now. Like
focusing like one of the reasons I picked up audiobooks was like I found like the ability to focus on text on its own difficult, and I just wouldn't be able to read for sustained periods.
I kind of had that with my previous attempt to get into Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and also my attempt to get into La Morte Arthur. Both kind of fell flat just because I'm just like, fuck, I can't my brain just will not let me sit down for this long.
That's why for Romance of the Kingdoms I started using like the text to speech in my phone app, just to be like, I'm reading along with the text to speech, and that is keeping me focused in a way, like having the thing in my ear to listen to. Like I've been doing that with a new Shell by Genre book as well. Just like the audio, like if I also the other downside of audiobook on their own is because sometimes you just like you have to be like book locked in to an audiobook to like pay attention, which is like also the problem I have with the actual play podcast. And so by having like the text in my ears and the audio in like the audio in my ears, the text in my eyes, both at the same time, it lets me kind of like focus on both, and like I can ingest the story more that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need to like just like put my phone in like a shelf or cabinet somewhere and like go into the opposite end of my apartment and just like
I see
sit the fuck down. I think that's my issue.
I've been weirdly able to like read while going on walks. Obviously, like trying to pay attention to my surroundings. Obviously, like not be dumb, but like having the audio while also glancing at my phone at the text has been able to like,
mm-hmm.
It's been good, and I've been able to get through like the first half of that Shelf by Genre, Magic's Pawn, pretty well with that.
Yeah, I think my issue is anytime the phone becomes part of the equation. Like unless like I'm just listening to something light. Like I've been going back through the Elric stuff, just listening to it. I haven't really been talking about it because we kind of already did that, and I don't really have anything more to say. But like that's just like nice, like easy, like whatever sword and sorcery listening stuff. But like for anything like more really detailed, I'm just like, fuck, I need to focus.
Yeah, well, but for me, because I have the text and the audio, I'm just like focusing on that in a way where like if I was on the audio, I'd be like looking at my apps and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and not So like
makes sense.
by having like the text and the audio, I can focus on just the book basically, and that's been working for me.
Cool.
Yeah. Backtrack a bit. One thing I forgot to mention, just because I think it is neat trivia. At Earth's core, is part of like Burroughs' series about the setting called Pellucidar.
Is this about the our fake mole that we're getting in
Yes.
these pair of episodes? Yes, I was just looking at this. I was that's
also the fake mole
coincidence.
from the original Ultraman too.
Was that also called the Pellucidar?
It was, I think our sub's called the Pellucidar. But when I looked up on the Japanese wiki, it says in the
sense.
script, even though it was given different katakana, like it was the Pellucidar in katakana, because V and B is the same in Japanese. In the actual script, it was called Pellucidar directly in like the script in the original Ultraman, which is funny.
That makes sense.
So there's some influences here that I thought was fun.
Yeah. Well, if we're done talking about everything else,
Yeah.
we can talk about Ultraman because I have nothing because I have accomplished nothing this week.
Now-
Yeah.
I was just gonna say before we do the episodes, maybe Brad can do runback because he was not here last week.
Oh yeah, we had 3 episodes last week.
So let me tell you, there's not much. So the only thing I really have to say on this front, as I pull up my notes app, is that the 2-parter was directed by someone who did a 2-parter for us in Ace. Where did my notes app go? Oh no. Here.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Keep notes. There we go. I was looking for N, but I forgot it was K. So yeah, basically, episode the Yasuo Yoshino did the 2-parter last time. He also did the Ace Killer 2-parter. Is basically like the only here's some fun context filling in for last time around. Other than that, it's just all people we've seen before. So yeah, we'll have another returning face from Ace this time around.
I see. How'd you like the episodes?
I liked the turtle episodes quite a bit, actually. I was like, okay, we are so fucking back. Egypt one, I was like a little cooler on, but I still overall, I was like, that was enjoyable. That, you already touched on it enough, but what the fuck is going on with the dog? Yeah.
The dog was so funny.
No child would act that way.
I was so... The moment he's like, I got you a new dog. I named it the same as your old dog. The boy should have been crying. It was incredible. Ultraman still got it.
Ultraman still got it.
Like the most like I have never owned a pet in my life written thing.
Now, to be fair, I think there are some people who do that, but they're like,
we make fun of those people.
Yes.
Oh, the it sounds like you're feeding cats to coyotes, to the local coyotes tweet. Yeah. Well then, we can get into Ultraman. We got 2 episodes. The first one I have far fewer notes on. Summary. I mean, I wrote summaries this week because I don't want to fully give up writing summaries because I like doing it because I'm a tyrant. Episode 7 is titled "Heaven and Hell: The Island Moves."
Little. I don't know if we needed to go that far. Episode title. It's not that exciting.
No, it's not quite. It's not as metal as that. Actually, the episode could go harder.
Round
to match
1
the title.
fight.
Round 1 fight. Featuring Kaiju Ganza Tagal. I don't know if that's 2 different
It's
names.
2 kaiju.
Yeah, Ganza and Tagal.
Ganza, for reference, Ganza is the crab and Tagal is the octopus.
Spoilers. God. Ships are getting destroyed, and the incidents seem to form a zigzag pattern on the map, as though the attacker were walking like a crab. Curious. The lieutenant, Kitajima, and Nanbaru are sent to investigate in the Sky Whale. Nishida not really appearing in this episode, or any more episodes.
Apparently. See ya, Space Cowboy.
They find some kind of large flat rock surface in the sea that's not meant to be there. They land and wait, assuming that this rock has something to do with the incidents. Kitajima pulls out a collapsible fishing rod and says, "It's my only hobby." Meanwhile, Nanbara goes swimming. I hope Kitajima tries to fish in every episode from now on. Kitajima yeah.
Just,
He's good.
next episode.
Kitajima joins him, and the two swim out to a strange pair of rock pillars. The pillars, which are definitely not the pincers of a giant crab claw, start moving. The boys gather on the rock again, light a fire, and suddenly they can smell cooking crab. They decide to get some rest before nightfall, as the attacks only occur at night. Kitajima is meant to keep watch, but falls asleep. Where's Kotaro, I hear you ask? Well, all this time Kotaro's been in bed, because he's got a cold and Sari won't let him go to work. 4 hours pass, and the lieutenant is woken up by a call from HQ asking, "Where the hell are you going?" And he's like, "Going? What do you mean? What are you talking about?" The rock they've perched on, it's moved in the direction of a populated island. Hang on a second. This isn't a large rock. It's a kaiju. A crab kaiju. An octopus kaiju appears to fight the crab, and both rear up out of the water, but the boys manage to get to the sky whale in time to escape. The captain calls Kotaro and asks for his help, and Kotaro shoots out of bed, ready to suit up. He arrives on the scene in the condor. The octopus has been eaten by the crab. Eaten? Beaten. The crab does not eat the octopus. The octopus has been beaten by the crab, and now the crab is attacking the island. The sky whale gets hit by the crab's foam spray attack, and the boys have to eject. Kotaro attacks in the condor and is forced to transform into Taro. Taro nearly gets melted by the foam spray, but luckily, he's Ultraman, so he can cheat. He uses a new move and the foam vanishes. Then he proceeds to tear open the crab, from which bursts dozens of multicolored balls, which are its eggs. The kaiju disappears, leaving behind only a bunch of normal-sized crabs. Taro shoots them with a beam, but the crabs seem fine, and the narrator assures us, very good line, Taro did not kill the tiny crabs. He used a special beam on them, so they would not grow enormous. Thank you, narrator. Taro flies away, and Kotaro reappears to the rest of the team, carrying a couple of little crabs. The boys run off to get more to eat. As the episode wraps up, we learn that Tokyo was feasting on crab for a little while after that incident, and the kid at Kotaro's place, I've already forgotten his name.
Kenichi.
He's like... Yeah, Kenichi, that's the one. He's like, I hope Taro kills a big crab kaiju like once a month or something. The end. I was so fucking right about this show's capacity for sympathy for a non-nuclear family-coded animal.
It was, it was destroying the ships, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Also, we have to consume crab.
We eat crab. Listen, crab's tasty.
Crab is tasty.
Crab's tasty. It's I don't know. I got sympathy for the when that kid's like, I hope you kill like a big crab kaiju once a month. I'm like, that does sound tasty. But also evil.
Imagine if you're watching like Deadliest Catch and then Ultraman showed up.
That's the deadliest catch.
Yeah.
Right there. How we feel about this episode?
Oh, it was fun.
It was alright. I had a good time.
I think what I enjoyed about it is just like we get an extended sequence of just 3 of the guys goofing off on a mission. And I think that's just good. I feel like we don't get a lot of that.
That was my favorite part too. Them swimming out to the pincer was so funny.
Kitajima is a king. I love him.
he's okay. I'm starting to appreciate him more. Like he's a goofball in like a more like interesting way than Nanbara, who's just like,
Yeah, he's just kind of... Nanbara is just kind of dumb. But Kitajima is just like lazy and a massive loser, and him just like whipping out the... He's like, I may forget my radio sometimes, but I never forget this. Whips out the collapsible rod. I'm like, dude, hell yeah.
Yes, the next episode too. It's good.
I know. I need to get him. I wish I was fishing hat or something. Anyway, Kirajima, cool as hell. All these guys hanging out on this quote unquote rock is pretty silly.
Yeah.
Pretty fun because it is very immediately obvious that this is a kaiju. It is very, 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 very obvious.
Weird how that's the weird rock that hasn't been on any nautical maps is here suddenly. No, anyway.
Yeah. I also just the octopus kind of rocks up and it looks. I don't really rate the octopus kaiju. I think it's I think it's too goofy. Maybe.
It feels a bit phoned in.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of forgettable compared to the crab.
Mm-hmm.
Ultra series not historically a great track record when it comes to octopus monsters.
No, it started off on a very bad foot.
Yeah.
Well, now the octopus is good.
That is true.
It's also the octopus from King Kong vs. Godzilla, though.
So it's not an ultra Q octopus.
They stole
they stole a good octopus to do.
I think the technical
to do
right.
Tetsuo to do Kinjo's 1L.
Yeah.
Yeah, the I enjoy the continued devotion. This is a gross Ultraman. This is different level of like horrific violence than in Ace. Different type. It's still the same, like on the same similar level, right? We got him like tearing open the crab and all the eggs fly out. But it's kind of deliberately silly.
The octopus gets fucked up though.
The octopus does get fucked up. That is true.
I like the rocket punch pincers.
Oh, but yeah, because crabs can regenerate their arms, so they're like, you can just launch its claws.
This is
over and hell yeah.
I hate that I watched this and I was like, this is just like when Araragi grows the arm back in Kizumana Gatari.
This is now an Araragi-pilled podcast.
Yeah, I'm just in that
he's on the mind.
It's relevant. There was a new episode yesterday. I haven't watched yet.
Ah, I see. That pretty boy Araragi has been haunting me. It's terrible. But I guess he grew up. It's all good. What do we have to say about this episode? There's not that much going on.
Yeah. You didn't have to pronounce it, Lieutenant, in your summary, by the way.
Here's the thing. The thing about me. This is my deepest, darkest secret, maybe. I don't get why Britain calls it lieutenant. I don't know where they got that bit. I don't know where they got that pronunciation.
I think it seems like a French thing.
But
it is weird.
They're big fans of Leffen, the fighting
gameplay. I see. Here's the thing. It can't be the French thing, because the French thing is just... It's the tenant in you. It's lieutenant. It's can't... Where's the F? What's going on? Britain, explain yourself. It never.
Yeah, there's probably a Wikipedia entry on it.
Quite possibly. Anyway,
I
do prefer Lieutenant. Yeah, go for it.
I thought it was deeply funny we got the crab monster just throwing bomb eggs after we had the turtle stuff, with like how important the eggs were to that. Like, what a contrast.
To be fair, the turtles also had bomb eggs.
That's true, actually, now that I think about it.
Maybe they're just the unfertilized ones. Just normal eggs.
Yeah.
That's how eggs work, right? Yeah. I know biology.
Crabs.
There's not much to say about this episode. Who made it?
This was made by Sei Okamura and then directed by Shigemitsu Taguchi. Now, do you recognize the name? I don't blame you if you don't.
I recognize the name Taguchi.
Okay, so Sei Okamura was the guy who did the Hokuto lets a lot of people die by being lazy at his blockade job episode.
Okay.
And he also did the Tapir episode.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this guy. This guy. I remember you. I remember you. Kotaro should have been fired. Yeah, Kotaro
sorry. I read episode 8.
Not Kotaro. Hokuto. Even.
I fucked up anyways. That was for next episode. I fucked up.
Okay.
Tragic.
Who's
Director,
this one?
Masadori Kake, who's been with us for a while now, and Toshiro Ishido.
Okay, there we go. Classics.
Yes.
Do we have anything more to say about this episode before we move on to the one that I have a way longer summary for?
One. I think we should point out that they sure do seem to like just play the OP for every fight scene.
They do.
I can't replicate it because it's not like ingrained in my head enough yet, but I do like the suspicious tense we're investigating music of this show a lot.
Ooh, I'll have to keep an ear out for it.
Yeah, whenever it's like a scene at night and it's dark and mysterious and they're looking into kaiju shenanigans, I think this is maybe one of the better ones of those we've had.
I like we had the Kadekigo classic at the end of the episode.
The Oi.
Well, not just the Oi, but also the Damn. I can't believe he's dead.
Yeah. Yes. R.I.P. Goodbye, our friend. Because the lieutenant's like, victory, and then frowns. He's, but at what cost? While we, and Kotaro comes up, like, no cost. It's fine.
But yeah.
Who did the kaiju stuff?
Anyway, special effects director is Koichi Kawakita. Yoshio Suzuki did both the Octopus and Ganza. The suit actor for Tagirl is the Octopus's Tamagoro Aoi. And it seems like the pincers for Ganza were used from Zenica.
I was about to ask because this is not her first crab rodeo.
Yeah.
I was curious if they had reused any of the last one.
Yeah. Reuse what you got, I guess.
The crabs are always cool. I like the crab kaiju. I just think crabs in general kind of cool. They're little freaks.
Yeah.
If we evolve long enough, we're probably going to turn into one of them.
Oh, right. Of course. I don't know that we're necessarily on... Is it all evolutionary lines that tend towards crabs, or is it just like...
I just think it's like a lot of them, because there's a lot of properties they have that...
I mean, it's mostly arthropods, right?
I don't know. Previously where I said I know about biology, no, I don't.
We need to be like that professor from Ultra Q and just like put our whole chest into it.
Ichinotani science.
Ichinotani, yes. I couldn't think of his name.
I'll never forget. Ichinotani, I'll never forget you.
This carcinization is a form of convergent evolution in which non-crab crustaceans evolve a crab-like body plan.
Wow, Ichinotani, is that why my arm turned into a pincer?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, fuck it. Should I shoot you with this beam?
Give me another 12-pack from the store with that pincer arm of yours.
Let's talk about episode 8.
The Spirit of the Man-Eating Marsh?
Yeah, the Spirit of the Man-Eating Marsh, featuring giant frog kaiju Tonadale. I want to say Tonadile because it sounds like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Alright, let me reel off this stuff in the beginning. There's a kid named Jiro, not that Jiro, who wets the bed one night, not that kid, when he sees ghost lights. His dad kicks him out of the house for being a loser, and he's like, if you touch this old ancestral spear, it would probably rust, because we're an old samurai family. We've got a set of armor in our house. And then Jiro talks to himself like, I get why Dad's mad, he loves me really, but he's been like this since my mother's death. It's his 42nd birthday tomorrow, so I want to get him something good. And his dad's like, I can hear you, stop talking out loud. Anyway, Jiro runs off to the edge of a lake and sees strange red lights emerge from the water that he identifies as more ghost lights. A passerby gets caught by them and put in a bubble and disappears. Kotaro is on patrol near the scene, and he too sees the lights. He even files them in his report, and the rest of Zat mocks him for saying they were spooky. They're like, what are you, 8? Anyway, we might not even have had the time to figure out who he was, but Nishida has already left the show and his replacement has arrived. Everybody,
he got assigned to space.
He got assigned to space. Everybody, meet Ueno, not that Ueno. Jiro, not that Jiro, calls Zat about the ghost lights thing, and Zat basically say, we deal with kaiju, not ghost lights. Ghost lights are not real ghosts. Please do not bother us.
It needs to be stated that because they're like mocking Kotaro, they're also mocking this kid.
Yes.
And Amber's like, you should call child counseling. Bye.
Yes. Yeah, it's just talking shit about this kid to his face. Later that night, Kotaro scares Saori with lamps out in the dark to test if people could mistake normal things for ghost lights. Turns out yes. Meanwhile, Jiro has called the actual police. Jiro, his dad, and a goofy cop head down to the lake to investigate weather together. The marsh, even, to investigate together, and they see another passerby get got by the red lights. The ghost lights are actually the two shining red eyes of a kaiju. Jiro's dad then gets put in a capsule and eaten by the kaiju, and the cop flees the scene. Zat appears the next day to investigate, and Jiro's pretty pissed off at them because they ignored him and now his dad's dead. So Jiro doesn't trust Zat. He's got his family's spear because he's from a samurai family. He'll settle this with the kaiju himself. Kitajima's fishing on the job and accidentally fishes up a bunch of belongings of the victims. The cop is on the verge of tears, sorting through them, identifying whose is whose, and picks up a fish and says, "Whose fish was this?" Which I thought was a very important detail that I needed to include.
It's a good bit.
It's so good. He's just like, "Oh, this belonged to this person. Oh, that's that hand, but they bought that handbag last week. Whose fish was this?" Zat realized this is the real deal and call in Palumidar, which is this show's fake mole. Kotaro insists on joining the mission underground, saying that he was the first...
To mention that it's being brought by Moriyama.
It's being brought by Moriyama in the Skywhale. Kotaro insists on joining the mission underground, saying that I was the first in Zat to witness the lights, and if Zat had been more careful, Jiro's dad wouldn't have got eaten. The lieutenant tells Kotaro to take his place. Kotaro and Kitajima burrow down to the kaiju's nest and see a stockpile of capsules. They speculate the kaiju is preparing for hibernation, which means the victims might still be alive. They attack the kaiju with rockets and get beaten back by its flame breath. They eventually ram the drills into the kaiju's ass, and this drives it to the surface. They reverse the drills to dislodge themselves, and the fight can begin. Jiro attacks first, sticking his spear into the kaiju. Kotaro rescues him from the flames and assures Jiro that they can still rescue his dad, so he's not to run into danger again. He has to stay alive. Jiro agrees, and the kaiju interrupts them by throwing the spear back at them. Kotaro takes the spear and throws it into the kaiju's eye. The kaiju puts Kotaro in a capsule, and he transforms into Taro. They fight. Taro wins, and then he brings all the capsules to the surface and opens them with like a mist beam thing. Jiro sees his dad emerge from the mist and leaps into his arms. His dad slowly comes to his senses and smiles at Jiro. Jiro says, "Happy 42nd birthday," and his dad gets mad, saying he's only 41. They play fight and chase each other around while Zat laughs. Kitajima appears from where he was unconscious in the Palumidar, and the lieutenant just casually goes, "Oh, you were alive." Back at base, the captain remarks upon an incident in the middle of the fight where Moriyama shot down some capsules in the Skywhale and said, I can fight too. And he didn't realize she was a skilled pilot. And Kotaro says, "A skilled hawk hides its talents." The captain just says that strength isn't everything, and we pan around the squad like this is like the first episode or something.
And they're all doing the weirdest shit.
Yes.
Like, I don't even know what Ueno is doing. He's just doing a weird pose.
Yeah. I can now differentiate between all the characters because they got rid of one and brought another guy in.
Yay!
I like this episode.
Yeah,
this episode's
it's fun.
pretty good. Yeah.
Hold on. There's a couple of things.
Okay.
One, I like the indignation that Keija has at how dismissive Aragaki is at him being alive.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
You were alive. It's good.
Moriyama doing something is cool.
Yeah. I don't know if that will continue, but
we'll see.
It was. I thought it was. At first, I was like, when they had her shoot things down, and she was like, "I can fight too." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, you can throw crumbs at me. I'm not eating them." And then at the end of the episode, the captain's like, "I didn't realize that you were strong like that."
They're hiding her power level.
And now I'm like, "Oh, hang on,
we'll see.
Hang on, maybe,
we'll see.
Maybe we don't know."
Another bit I liked in that episode is the scene where Jiro and his dad, along with a cop, decide to go investigate the lights.
That was my highlight too. I think.
It's like, well, first later on you get like the scene of him needing to pee and like the joke around that, but like the moment the scene starts with like the cop has his flashlight, but for whatever reason, the dad insists on using an old traditional style Japanese lanterns, and so you got a bit where they try and light a match and fail for a couple 30 seconds.
It is pretty. Good.
This dad is the worst, and like I think my favorite part. Well, like the show knows it too, so like there's kind of this tongue-in-cheek level of fun of like, oh, we gotta save my dad, that like as soon as he gets out he's like, don't say I'm a year older than I actually am, you piece of shit child. Then they run around.
He's weirdly tsundere, but also it does just suck sometimes.
I do think that him emerging from the mist and like the weird creepy music as it's suddenly it feels like the episode kind of sets a tone like maybe he's not coming back.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm
too.
like, it was kind of. I was like, oh, okay.
Is this some ghost shit?
Yeah, but then him like the close-ups on like Jiro pinching his cheek, and then like the close-up on his eyes and like slow motion starts to smile and says Jiro. I thought that was really, really well done.
Yeah.
I think as a whole, this show, from what we've seen of it so far, while it is sillier and like the goofier one that's going for more of a good times vibe, like it also knows when to pull back and be serious and like not walk over itself in that way. Like it has a really good balance of tones when it needs to really put its emotional weight on a sequence.
Yeah, it's also just demonstrative of like, and like I think the turtle episodes last week as well is like demonstrated that this show is still accomplished. Like there's still good at making TV.
Yeah.
Like the thing about Ace is, like, it sucked a lot. But they were still doing their best with how they were actually like in shooting it in like sometimes they had something and like I think especially we talk up the incel episode a lot. That was incredible. And I really love the episode immediately after the pool get killed. And like that has carried forward into this show.
Yeah. Still guys good at what they're doing, except there's less meddling, it seems like.
We have had our first production hiccup is Nishida could only hang around for 6 episodes.
Yes.
Goodbye, Nishida.
I'll get to that in the trivia anyway. But I like so this kind of ties back into the turtle episode where there's like, I guess because it is the kids show, they didn't want to necessarily commit to the dad dies and like the consequences for that. I do like that, like you have, because I think there's a thing in Return of Ultraman and Ace where like the teams in those shows had a bad habit of not actually taking seriously things that were happening. And this, we have like the show very deliberately in a scene where they're making fun of Kotaro and like even Jiro on the phone. The camera is kind of framing it in like a negative light, and then we get sort of like Nanbara having to like deal with the fact Jiro's like, you told me to go to counseling, what the fuck? And now my dad's dead because of you. And Nanbara has to like sit with that for a bit. That's good. And I like that.
Yeah. I definitely think that I kind of talked about how the turtle last week, I felt like the mum being alive again felt like cheating. I think this one is fine.
Yeah,
I think this one works just
I'm
fine,
just saying, like, it maybe also because, like, it's a kid's show and you don't want to just kill off the dad necessarily for the kid of the week. But it was just like a common thing I saw. But like this one is more fine. Like it's less egregious. Like it's it's a good resolution for the episode.
I'm a fan. Okay, compulsory. We have to talk about it. We got a fake mole. I'm pulling up Palumidar,
Palumidar
Ultraman
2.
Taro. Palumidar 2.
Yeah.
Well, this. What do you mean there aren't any images that matches this topic? What the fuck are you talking about? How is this spelled? Not like that. Not the way I just spelt it. Huh? I can't find this.
Let me find it.
Anyway, the point is, I think this mole it's okay. The two drills thing is kind of fun. Better. I'm trying to think of like the last mole we had. I can't remember.
I think the last one was the Magmarizer, wasn't it?
Oh, the Magmarizer. Here's the thing. I didn't like the Magmarizer until the last episode, and then I'm like, I've always loved the Magmarizer. What are you talking about? I'm the Magmarizer's #1 fan. I love it, like, barreling through all those walls of dirt.
I think also, like,
in the finale.
the wiki calls it the Bellmaid for some reason. I don't know. There's the weird,
Okay.
katakana translations to romanizations are
Well,
the best.
Well, whatever it is, this thing. There we go. I think this is fun. I like this. I continue to like how ridiculous all their vehicles are. They're extremely extra. I think the rabbit panda is maybe a little much. That looks like just annoying to drive around.
It has a clown nose. What? It has a clown nose.
Yeah. But this does have the... Oh, hang on. This is a double fake mole. Look at this picture. That drill model, both of these drill models, that is a model of the mole.
Oh.
Painted. And then strapped to a car.
That's funny.
That's not the first time they've done that either.
No, I only just noticed this. That is absolute. I was looking at this like I was like, that drill is also very mole-like, and I was like, but hang on a second, that is the fucking mole drill.
Tak had the duckbill, I think.
Oh
wait.
Tak's.
Hold on. What is? Doki says that there's the one that they have, but doesn't show up in the show. I don't know. Do we get a drill in Ace? There's one on the wiki, but maybe Ace isn't in the show. Anyway.
I don't remember.
I'm looking at this toy, and I do not remember this from the show.
Okay. So maybe it was just like a case of like, oh, we had a toy, but it wasn't in the show.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm so glad I looked at this picture. I'm so glad I know now that is just two moles. That's fun. Okay, so yeah, this show continues to be about kids and their parents, obviously.
Yeah,
and this is like a pretty like you were saying. This is like kind of a tsundere dad vibes, but it's like deliberately extreme and kind of silly.
Yeah, like we get. I do like that we get like the juxtaposition. Like the first scene really just makes him come across as like weirdly abusive in a way that Jiro is nonchalant about. But in the context of like the second scene where there were the cops, where he's just like more chill and goofy, I think it makes a bit more sense. Where it's just like, oh, he's just like this in like it's not that serious, at least to Jiro, at least.
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean which doesn't mean I think he should be parenting like that, but it does make it better.
Yeah, I had some weird. I mean, anytime dad stuff comes up, I have weird thoughts just because of life experience. It won me over by the end to be like, okay, like he has a stick up his ass, but like there's like a genuine affection here.
Yeah, like he has a stick up his ass, but like he's not like there's like a funness, like tsundere-ness to it. Like to the degree he's kind of like putting on a mask because he's like, well, I'm a samurai, so I have to be this way, rather than like
it's the extreme warmth in like the close up on his eyes, and then it's like happy 42nd birthday, and immediately drops into the face. It's like, how dare you? I'm going to kill you. I think this show is good at comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
I should hope so.
Yeah.
With the shift in tone, but they're doing a decent job.
The pissing scene is funny.
Oh, it's really good.
Jiro is like Jiro needs to piss, and his dad's while his dad and the cop are there, they're like waiting to investigate the thing, and they're like, okay, you can go pee.
It's funny. The dad's like, you can go pee. No, wait, that's not what samurai would do in front of a cop. And the cop's like, listen, you can just go.
He's like, it's your property. I think he says even too, or something like that.
But the moment where a stranger walks by and they're like, whoosh, and
He
then
stops!
the stream stops. It was really good.
Have I ever?
Uh-oh.
Have I? Have I ever told the story of the first time I peed in the great outdoors on this podcast?
No,
It's
you have not.
semi-related.
Okay.
What do you mean? It's okay. Okay, go.
So, me and my sister used to be into geocaching. I'm assuming you two are familiar.
I see.
Yes.
I see. Yes.
So this time, so one time during the summer, we were bored and looking for something
Okay,
to
how
do.
old were you, first of all?
Like middle school aged, like
Okay.
12 to 14, somewhere in that like
Okay.
era. I could not drive yet because she was driving me around.
Thank you for the explanation on ages. I do have to think about what middle school means.
Yes. I think closer to 12 because, like, I don't know how much this would have been happening when she was, like, in college. It was, like, probably closer to, like, 12-ish or whatever, for how our ages lined up. So we're driving around trying to do this geocaching shit or whatever, and one of them takes us to this graveyard that's, like, big but kind of in the middle of fucking nowhere. And it's, like, the middle of the day, so it's not creepy or anything, but we are, like, the only people there. And, like, it's truly, honest to God, small town, middle of fucking nowhere sort of area. And I'm like, I have to go fucking pee. And she's like, there's nowhere. Just, like, go off into the corner of this graveyard and go pee. So I find, like, there's, like, a storage shed or something. And behind it are two dumpsters. And I'm like, I'm gonna pee in the bushes near these dumpsters so, like, no one can really, like, see or whatever. This is the first time in my life I've peed, like, in, like, a bush or something out in the wilderness. As I pee, I notice that in the bushes left of where I'm peeing, there's fur. And I'm scared shitless. Like, this is an animal. And, like, I can't tell if it's moving or not because it's kind of shaded and off in the, like, you know, it's, like, off in the corner. So this whole time I'm peeing and I'm just like, am I about to be attacked by something? And then I kind of, like, kicked it off a little, like, ways after I was done. And, like, I think it was, like, a dead something or other. But, like, it was genuinely terrifying moment of my life of, like, am I peeing on an animal that's gonna attack me while my pants are down right now?
Caught midstream.
It's like genuine, one of the closest to like horror movie moments of my life, where I'm like, this is bad. We also didn't find what we were looking for. That entire graveyard trip was a waste of our time.
Damn. Well, kids, you heard it here first. Don't piss in graveyards. You might get attacked. What else is do we have anything more to say about this episode other than who made it?
I do think I like the crab one a little bit more, but this is like close. Like they're close. These are definitely of a pair to me.
We haven't had a stinker yet.
Fun. No, I think I've had a good time with all these episodes.
Yeah. It's good that we're in a show we feel positive about.
I think the Egypt one is maybe the weakest so far for me, but even that one, I'm just like, it's fine.
That one is saved by insanity.
Yes.
That one is rescued by a completely ridiculous ending. I'm so happy. It made me so happy. I've never been happier to learn that a dog is dead.
This podcast makes us say the most immoral of positions.
Yep.
It's okay. The second dog's there. But yeah,
who made this episode?
So this was the one directed by Sei Okamura, who did the Hokuto lets a bunch of people die by being bad about the blockade, and also the weirdly creepy tapier episode. Yes, yeah. And then written by Shigemitsu Taguchi, who has been with us for a bit now. So,
listen, he had a weird taper episode, but he's got something. We'll see. It's
Credit where it's due. The taper episode did have like the military
balloon
marching
stuff.
off the tape.
Oh
The
yeah.
fire's gone.
The tape is such a mixed episode because it's like really good, and also there's this
Morally
bizarre
reprehensible
subplot
shit happening.
that feels like it's trying to make a point and then forgets. Strange.
The more I think about that episode, the more I'm convinced I don't know if they were. I think they stumbled onto something that they were not equipped for. It's so
Wow.
weird.
Who's the kaiju stuff in this episode?
Special effects director is Masataka Yamamoto. Time Dial was made by Yoshio Suzuki and is modified from Live King from episode 2 and 3. As a note, Takashi Ueno is played by Akihiko Nishijima. I may as well give him his credit because he's going to be here for the show now. Apparently Nishida's actor was, at the same time as Taro, starring in a historical drama called White Lion Mask, and basically he had to leave the show because of scheduling conflicts.
I see. He had a much better role going.
Yeah.
Somewhere else. Fair play.
Someone would actually recognize who he is, probably.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any last thing to say about Ultraman Taro this week before we move on
I'm
to
happy
American
the show
Toku?
is good.
Yeah.
I am also happy the show is good.
We needed it.
We kind of did.
Yeah.
if we got like 2 stinkers in a row, that'd be like demoralizing.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's the thing. Not for me. I'd have been fine. I truly can show up and hate a thing. And
Okay,
it's
I guess the thing is like,
demoralizing in terms of optimism for Ultraman.
well, also just like is going through like going multiple months with like stuff we don't like is hard, and more so if it's like if we just don't have anything to say on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's bad in an interesting
True.
way, that's different. But
True.
I will say Ace, the dark stretch of Ace towards the end was, I think, the only time I was like, in my brain, this podcast felt like a job I had to do rather than a fun time hanging out with my friends. And it's strictly because of the material and not anything to do with you two.
Well then, now that we're in a bright era, we can move on to American Toku.
yeah,
Let's talk about the Guyver.
American Toku based off of Japanese.
Yeah.
I was gonna say half American Toku.
Based on a manga.
Yeah.
Which is not finished, and from what I gather is extremely, it listed on Wikipedia, on hiatus as of 2016.
As of 2016? That's so recent.
Yeah.
From what I gather, this is one of those that went on for a long time, kind of slowed down, kept slowing down, just stopped updating, and the dude's like, I'll get back to it. Probably won't.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
This
Also
has been going since 85.
Yep.
also transparently, guy who watched Kamen Rider. If it needs to be said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. This is also this is I don't have a summary of this movie.
Yeah.
Do we?
I can I break it down?
You can
Can
go ahead
I
and
say
break
something
it down.
first?
Oh yes,
Okay.
go
I was
ahead.
curious yesterday for whatever reason, just like other podcasts about this movie, and like I just looked up, and like I didn't watch it, I didn't listen to it, but I did see like one podcast out there did a podcast on the second movie, and like in the description it was like, I am convinced this movie inspired Power Rangers, and I'm like, you have
No.
zero you have zero you have just not investigated Japanese media at all, have you?
Incorrect.
So it is funny. So when people talk about these movies, which I'll provide more of a breakdown of, but the sequel is what I would call a cult hit for a certain generation of like horror movie fans, I would say. Like the second movie is kind of known more so than this first one.
I think from what I gathered doing the research, the second movie was more tonally consistent with what the manga was.
Yes.
I think.
Are you going to tell me that the manga does not have the weird tone that this movie has?
I think
The
I was
weird mix of like fucking Karate Kid,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and also
body
bug
horror.
body horror.
Yeah, like I didn't prepare the production notes as I might otherwise, just because like, well, it's hard. But I was
If you want a much better movie with a similar tone-ish, not similar, but like with the same level of body horror and also comedy, people should watch American Werewolf in London.
I should watch that. I've never seen it.
That movie's good.
Yeah, I think I was just reading like an article, which I'll post. I guess maybe I can post in the description. But it's basically like the person, like the director for this movie, was like,
Which one?
Screaming George.
Screaming Mad George.
Screaming Mad George.
Huh?
Yes.
Huh?
This film was directed by Joji Tati, better known as Screaming Mad George.
I'd love to be known as that.
I think it was like, I guess for whatever reason Bandai wanted to make, because they had the Guyver rights, wanted to make an American movie, and they approached him because he did good work on Nightmare on Elm
Predator.
Street, other like special effects, other horror-ish movies. Like, oh, you do good special effects, and he was like, well, if I get on for special effects, I should direct it too. That's my condition.
I have a list here if we want to. I did pull
Yeah.
up some stuff for the director and writers.
Yeah.
Directors and writer. So yeah, like Screaming Mad George is like a special effects guy first and foremost. Did Big Trouble in Little China. Perhaps you've heard of it.
The last month or so, I tried watching it in like a Discord call with friends, and I tapped out like 10 minutes in because like, this is so racist. I can't watch this.
It is. Predator. And then also, yeah, some of the Nightmare on Elm Street sequels. But then also, too, so remember when we talked about our friend Akio Jisoji did one of the most expensive Japanese films ever made, Tokyo: The Last Megalopolis?
Oh,
Yes.
Is Screaming Mad George working on it?
No, Screaming Mad
Oh.
George worked on the much less successful sequel, Tokyo:
Yes.
The Last War.
Yes.
Ah.
We put Tokyo Megalopolis on our Toho watch list, so you
Yeah.
can look forward to that. We've not put Last War, but
Maybe we should.
maybe we should. We can consider it.
Tokyo: The Last Megalopolis, of course, a sequel to Megalopolis.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Megalopolis is a prequel.
Megalopolis, the film with the subtitle An American Fable.
Yeah.
Followed up by Tokyo: The Last Megalopolis.
That's just how history. That's just how history's going. I think this is accurate. You will please observe historical masterpiece, Psychopaths the movie. Anyway.
Yeah.
I have a funny Psychopaths thing to go into. Maybe next time I'm on this podcast.
You do? Have you watched Psychopaths?
There's a story there.
Okay.
In 2 weeks' time,
In 2 weeks' time.
In 2 weeks' time,
you will learn.
I will learn. Okay, it's going on the calendar.
Yes. So Screaming Mad George is the special effects like side director of this, but then also was then directed by Steve Wang, who is important in tokusatsu because he also is the guy who is responsible for Kamen Rider Dragon Knight in 2009.
Oh, nice.
Which is like, I believe is it Ryuki?
It's Ryuki.
Yes, so it's like
Which
an American...
which is weird because like it's like 7 years removed from where Ryuki was on air, but
Yeah, so like, correct me, because I always forget how... But like, they're basically doing the Power Rangers thing, but for Kamen Rider, and like
Yes.
making it its own thing based off of footage of Ryuki, but
Yes.
it's like closer than you would think. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, like it's not as much a Power Ranger situation. Like they're doing the thing, but like the guy likes Kamen Rider and isn't like just like
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not a Saban situation.
Yes.
The only other thing is that the writer is someone named John Purdy, who also wrote Reflections on a Crime and Star Portal, which I believe were both direct to DVD movies as well, sort of thing, or I guess direct to VHS back in the day, and also directed a TV movie on the Unabomber, I guess. So,
Okay.
Not really anyone too much of note. It seems like they did some stuff in the 90s, then got out of the industry.
Yeah. It seems like Yuzna was involved with the Reanimator.
Yes, Yuzna is the producer, who is also friends with Screaming Mad George.
And then just a quote I got from the same article is like, George says, the animated version of Guyver, because there was like 2 OVAs before this, is a lot more serious and meant for adults. It had a lot of gory violence and adult themes. As we got into script development, we realized that with the budget and schedule we had to shoot the movie, we'd probably be better off making it for a broader audience, like a PG-13.
That makes sense. I have not seen those OVAs, weirdly enough. I've seen the 2000s TV adaptation they made after this.
Yeah.
Anime, I should say. It's Japanese. Before we get into this movie, I think I've brought up, actually on the very first episode of this podcast when we went through our tokusatsu history, this was my fucking introduction to tokusatsu, was this movie.
I don't know whether that means that you think everything else you've seen since is sick, or everything else you've seen since doesn't go hard enough.
I think both.
Yes. Because the standard this sets in terms of plot and writing is so low compared to the effects and like gore and body horror, which is so high.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill turning into a bug is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's definitely a takeaway. Like, this is not a good story, but the special effects.
You can tell it's directed by people who were special effects people first and foremost.
Yes.
And can make that stuff look really good on a shoestring budget.
He's like the anti-Akio Jisoji, where Akio Jisoji was like, I'm going to tell a story first and foremost, and somehow make it more economical, because I don't care as much about special effects, and well, everyone else is like, this is a special effects show.
Yeah. Let me tell you, this is a special effects movie. This is
Absolutely.
I guess it's similar to like the 4 movies I brought in that regard, but you know.
True. So, so this movie is about some aliens have been in contact, have been visited Earth way before us, and they've been around.
I want to say, just based off of this opening crawl, I was like, this premise is weirdly like Fies.
I see.
Which I thought was funny.
So yeah, there's a company which is run by aliens, looking for the Guyver, which is like, is run by the Zoa Lord, and they're looking for the Guyver, which is this shield, which was which they wanted to. So the aliens arrived on Earth. Okay, we have to start with the coolest line in this movie, which is in the opening crawl, when it says, the Zoanoids arrived on Earth and created the ultimate weapon, super weapon, mankind.
Yes.
I was like, it's all downhill from there. That is absolutely the best line in this movie. And part of making the ultimate super weapon means that they made the Guyver, which is like a thing when paired with a human being turns them into like a superhero.
A weapon worse than the atom bomb.
Absolutely. And a kid, a guy taking Aikido lessons who doesn't pay attention, gets his hands on the Guyver. And uses
also his girlfriend. His girlfriend is the daughter of the guy who stole it.
Yes, the guy who stole it, who is an alien. Or he messed around with his DNA in the lab. One of those two things happened. he's either an alien or he's been up to stuff, and there's like a bunch of weird street thug stuff. This is
gets a little racist.
It gets
yes.
it gets. I would this
is
movie
1991.
This movie gets pretty 1991 about criminals. And
comedic,
just
comedic
random
person.
people on the street. Yeah, comedic black person.
Oh, do you mean MC Stryker?
Shut the fuck.
Oh.
We're not saying his name. I'm not talking about him. It's bad. And it's just kind of it's not good. It's not like the thing here is like he gets hold of the Guyver, and then he becomes the target of the Chrono Corporation, which is run by these aliens. And his girlfriend gets kidnapped because she's related to she's the daughter of the guy who like found or discovered or invented the Guyver. It's invented. And then the Mark Hamill is here as a member of like 40-year. Okay, he's right.
I was CIA agent.
Yeah.
I'm completely unfamiliar with 40-year-old Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
this is a Mark
weird.
Hamill I've never seen in my life.
Because there's like New Hope Mark Hamill and there's Last Jedi Mark Hamill, and there's nothing in between because he's mostly doing the Joker on his voice acting.
Yeah. This is a completely new Mark Hamill to me. Didn't recognize him at first. I was like, hang on, who the fuck is that's you?
So I need to bring you back to childhood me. So, yeah, I guess I did technically complete the story of me being introduced to this as a child. So my older cousin, influential figure in my life, part of the family we don't really talk to anymore for complicated reasons, but I had a very influential cousin in my life that was like he is like the guy that like, you know, Final Fantasy VII, Halo, Perfect Dark, like all that shit was like influential in showing me like traditional like older male relative that's like, oh, here's the cool shit that you should be into, sort of like guy in my life or whatever when I was young. Rents this movie and the sequel one weekend that I'm spending over at their place. And he's like, you know, this is basically like the Power Rangers but for adults. Like, it's better than the crap you're watching. And I was like, I don't watch Power Rangers. I've never watched Power Rangers. He's like, that's good because this is better. And then he throws in both of these movies back to back. So when I'm sitting there watching this fucking movie and they're at the dojo and then fucking Mark Hamill walks in, I went, is that Luke Skywalker? It was so weird.
Here's the thing. 40-year-old Mark Hamill is a weirdly fuckable man until he speaks. He's got no charisma. He's got nothing.
That's a weird place to put a mirror.
Shut up, Mark Hamill. Go be the fucking Joker.
He's trying so like it's almost like he's trying to be Deckard in Blade Runner, but like he just can't do the old guy like detective investigator thing.
Here's the thing. He's 40 years old. He's not an old man. Yeah. Mark Hamill. I don't think Mark Hamill has ever been an old man. He's old right now. I don't think he's an old man.
No, he tweets too much.
He's a baby. It sticks with the baby face sticks with you forever.
The scene where he hops in the car is like, I'm gonna get some rope to hang myself.
That is a very useful clip. Thank you, Mark Hamill. That will be seeing some use.
Of me watching the last half of Ace.
Where are you going? Getting enough rope to hang myself.
I wish I remembered more lines from this movie just because.
That and the "I wasn't ready yet, you butthead" were the two that really stuck with me.
The moment the main character of this movie called someone a butthead, I was like, I have to have like Twitter up on another monitor like immediately. Otherwise I'm going to lose my mind.
You know the weird thing? I should also say, from what I've gathered, this movie has the reputation as being oh, you can skip this one, just watch the sequel. And with that in mind, I don't revisit, or I've seen this much less often in my life than I have the sequel. I think this is the best viewing of this movie I've ever had, where I'm just like, this is such a stupid fucking movie, but I'm having a mostly good time.
Yeah.
Where it's not getting, like, really weird about the criminals, and especially our friend MC Stryker being the black comic relief guy who can't do anything right. I'm like, oh, this is, like, stupid fun, but also, like, it really can't decide who it's for, I feel. Between, like, they alternate between calling, like, the main characters, like, oh, you're such a jerk-face butthead, and then they're just going, like, at the end of the movie, they're like, holy shit, fuck, yeah.
And then, someone gets cut in half or something.
Yeah.
Main guy gets melted. So, okay, so let me get around to the rest of this movie, because the bug transformation is sick, but I think the bit that I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool, was when the main character fucking dies, which is, so, the Guyver, like, main guy realizes he's the Guyver.
Because he face plants on it when he's getting beat up by some, the guys I've actually called the yellow turbans, because they're all wearing, like, yellow scarves around their head for some.
One of whom is his bully from his karate dojo.
Yellow turbans.
Who in his first scene wears a shirt that says, and I quote, "kill 'em all," in case you needed to know.
Tao Pai
It was bad.
Oh, they do serve the same role as the yellow turbans. That is correct. This is pretty good. Anyway, so yeah, after all of that, they're getting chased by bad guys. When someone's supposed to be kidnapping his girlfriend, he gets into a big fight with the bad guys. He, like, cuts one of them.
Oh yeah, it's because like he keeps awkwardly leaving his girlfriend, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go get some food, and then he comes back with food as they're carrying her away.
Yes.
And he comes back and finds a dead girl there.
During the fight, he kills the girlfriend of one of the aliens, the one that's kind of like a sub boss.
The one who likes shopping because she's a woman.
Yeah, she likes shopping because she's a woman.
Yeah.
Women do be shopping.
And he's gonna take her shopping in Brazil, and then she goes, Brazil?
I can't use Twitter there.
That's true.
No. Paradise. Hero gets beaten in a fight. They realize his weakness.
I like how we don't use any of these characters' names.
No. Mark Hamill's name is Reed, I think.
Max Reed, I think.
Max Reed.
Yeah.
Fucking loser. The thing that happens is the main guy gets beaten in a fight, and then his chest is about to open to do something, and instead of doing something, he gets the weird eyeball in his head torn out.
Yes.
And it's gory, and then the main guy melts. The suit melts, and his body inside melts with it.
Yeah.
And then, girlfriend kidnapped, Max Reed kidnapped. I'm just gonna call him Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill kidnapped. Mark Hamill gets put in a tube. He's gonna get transformed into a bug. The girlfriend is, like, threatened. The boss is like, I'm gonna turn you into a bug. And
CEO, who's just like a weird creep.
CEO is just a weird creepy guy. Yeah. He's just kind of, like, touching her a lot. And then they go to the science room. They go to the lab, and they find out that the ball is alive. There's life inside it, and it's growing a new
weird,
Guyver suit.
Tendrils that are shaking and stuff on it.
Yeah. Eventually, after, like, the girlfriend tries to escape, and she, like, grabs the Guyver, she tries to get rid of it. She accidentally throws it into the mouth of one of the aliens, who swallows it, and then from within that alien, a new Guyver suit, like, tears its way out.
That's pretty
and
sick.
Our main guy's back, and then there's a big fight.
For a split second, because I don't remember this movie all too well, and I know in the manga, because there's multiple Guyvers in the manga, and I know one of them is a woman. I thought when it started to like grow back that she was going to become the Guyver for a bit. That would have been so sick.
You had too much faith.
Yeah, I did. And I was like, is that what happens? Because I was like, but I feel like I remember him coming back at some point. And it just grew back into him. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. That would have been too cool.
I do think it's cool that he just grows back with it.
Yes.
I think that's a cool thing I wasn't necessarily expecting from this movie. This big fight, he kills a bunch of aliens, and then Mark Hamill, who has escaped and has been doing like fucking Scooby-Doo bits with the girlfriend and like other aliens, like running across the screen and then getting chased from the other side of the screen. Eventually they're all like, we're safe now, let's go. And Mark Hamill gets turned into a bug, and it's really gross. It's good.
He's like, you guys just need to leave, I'm fucked.
Yeah, he just dies.
Okay, the Mark Hamill getting turned into a bug is really good until it speaks with Mark Hamill's voice again. And
I think I did read somewhere about this movie that Mark Hamill decided to sign on to this movie specifically because they said he'd get turned into a bug.
Okay,
that's so funny.
Credit to Mark Hamill. That's pretty cool. This was the moment he spoke with Mark Hamill's voice, I was like, you don't need him to you could just let him be fucked. But the boss is kind of like, he's got like this third eye in his head that kind of emerges when he's trying to do psychic stuff to people, and it's kind of implied like he's the one kind of turning Mark Hamill into a bug from like behind a window. He emerges and he's the Zoa Lord, and the Guyver like destroys his human body, and then he's like, you don't know how big I really am. The camera keeps panning like to show like how tall, like showing main guy and girlfriend from the perspective of the Zoa Lord, and the camera keeps going up and up to show how tall he is, but he's not out of the door yet. And so it is just, they are just looking up at nothing. There's nothing there because the Zoa Lord is not out from the very human-sized door yet, which I thought was very silly. I was like, okay, you've kind of fucked this a little bit. Then the Zoa Lord comes out. There's a big fight. The Guyver, similar thing happens. The CEO is about to tear out the ball, and then the Guyver opens his chest, and the CEO is not locked in like his sub-boss was, and so he's like, what's this? And then gets blasted by the Guyver, and he's dead.
Yeah.
Rip to that motherfucker. And then the suit opens. The girlfriend's like, oh, it's you, but, I don't know that I really have a crush on, like, a bug suit. And then the Guyver suit opens up, and it's a naked man underneath. It's the new guy. She does keep checking out his cock. It happens like twice. It's like there's like, she gets one last glance in before he like covers up with the lab coat, which I thought was hilarious. Then they run off, and then we get like the last bit of the movie is the two black characters in the movie are revealed to know each other. One's with like the cops and is like secretly in league with the corporation.
It was like Mark Hamill. It's like Mark Hamill's like doesn't believe
superior.
The conspiracy, but clearly is in on this conspiracy.
Yeah.
It goes all the way to the top.
It goes all the way to the top.
It goes all the way to the top.
And then that it kind of like, he's like, I got a job for you, and it's kind of like a sequel stinger or whatever. I don't know that the sequel is going to pick up these two guys. I don't know that I would do that. Yeah, we'll find out. This movie, I had a fun time watching this movie.
It is so goofy. I understand why people are like, you don't need to watch this, but also at the same time, I think it's worth a watch. Yeah, it's a fun one.
It's less than 90 minutes. It's fine.
Remember when they used to make movies at watchable length?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd watch my movies if they were like 90 minutes, which is how I got through the other ones.
Yeah. This is like we've already been kind of talking about it. This is absolutely just if you're going to watch this, you're going to watch this for special effects and for the gross body horror in it, which is truly top notch. I love the suit. I love the Guyver suit so much.
It looks
the way
amazing.
it's kind of like in his neck, and it like wraps all the like ligaments kind of like wrap around his neck and his wrist and stuff, and then cuts back to the suit. The steam vents on the helmet are fucking sick. He delivers like the worst line you ever heard in your life, and then the steam hits, and you're like, God, I wish that line was good. This would have been the greatest moment in cinema.
Yeah.
I appreciate how like actually layered, because like sometimes when you get like low budget like toku suits like this, it's like, okay, this is like one big piece basically on a like, but like this has like armor plating to it in a way that like they actually get to use when he like opens up his chest and uses his like big cannon attack, and it's cool. Like all the moving bits are cool, and it really leans in on the body horror element of it, and like it's all organic and bulbous in a way that you want something gross like this to look like too.
Absolutely. It does also look like he's wearing the Dunbine. Which I'm in favor of.
But also, I think it's just the Guyver in general, like anything in the manga. He's like a bug suit.
Yeah, when was the Guyver was 1984? When Dunbine was 1982, right?
Yeah.
Bugs were on the mind.
Bugs were on the mind. This is a good bug suit. I'm in favor. The eyes kind of tilt out as like out of the face as well for some reason. No idea why, but it's a good touch. I enjoy it. The action sometimes leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
This is not the best that is to be seen from like Toku. But you know, this is like not obviously, you know, in Japan they've got like an industry for this, right? They've had Sentai has been going every year. They've got choreography down. They've got people who do hand-to-hand combat like every week.
You can feel them struggling to incorporate the like shoulder blades, the awkwardly positioned on an actual human body shoulder blades. Like the only time that they ever really come up is like, oh, I got grabbed and like I need to like jab a guy or like very clumsily like swing at them. And like a lot of it just boils down to like kind of generic martial arts movie fighting and flips and stuff, which is a shame, but
Oh, I was having fun for about the next movie.
Yes, go for it.
Apparently one of the stunt guys in that movie, Koichi Sakamoto, would get involved with Power Rangers and then would get involved with like actual like Kamen Rider stuff later down the road. And also an Ultraman show. So.
Oh, now here's the thing. When was Power Rangers?
I don't know.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is 93.
93. So this is like 2 years before America starts getting like people who are regularly doing martial arts all the time.
Yeah.
For Toku.
Yeah. 1 year after the season is adapting its entire.
Yeah, because at some point, I don't know when it happens, but like, Power Rangers like actors, like a lot of those people are just doing like their own fight scenes. I like when Tommy comes back in like the Dino Thunder, he's got a bunch of action scenes. He's doing all that himself. Anyway. What else is there to say about this movie?
I'm so excited to get to actual 90s Ultraman now. having revisited this, because like I don't think Ultraman is one of the franchises that is going to too much get into the general global 90, or I guess, like, I don't know. I feel like it was probably mostly a westernized thing, but, like, I don't know. Like, anime and manga kind of got there, too, with, like, we're looking for the edgy, grimy shit now era of, like, 90s storytelling that kind of came to prominence. But I'm curious what they do to adapt with the times.
Yeah.
Like, I know Kamen Rider does. Like, isn't the 90s Kamen Rider kind of known for being where, like, a lot of the, like, more celebrated, like, adult quote-unquote stuff is of that era?
Yeah, there's,
so,
like,
Ultraman has to respond to that
there's,
somehow.
like...
Having only seen a couple of episodes of Kamen Rider Black, that is some...
Well, Black is 80, still. Late 80s.
Black is 80s.
But wasn't it, like, 89? Like, it's late, I
Yeah.
thought.
It's late. Hang on, Kamen Rider Black.
But then you have in the 90s, you have
87.
Kamen Rider Shin, not confused with Shin Rider, Kamen Rider Zero, and Kamen Rider J.
Oh, yeah, that's when they were doing movies, that's
yeah.
right.
I believe the director, hold on.
Like, I know one of those, like, the Kamen Rider, they make all, like, what if Kamen Rider was fucked up?
That's
and
Kamen
more,
Rider
like,
Shin.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 90s is kind of a blank-ish space for Kamen Rider. Other than movies.
Yeah.
Ultraman is the other way round. The 80s is kind of a blank space, and then it comes back in, like, the 90s.
Fun fact, the director for Kamen Rider Zero and Kamen Rider J, not Shin, also did Huck Hider, that movie. And also 2, like, kind of horror-ish toku movies in the 90s, too. I kind of wanted to check out, but, called
we might be getting a little bit more like body horror pilled Ultraman, like maybe not for the Ultramen themselves, but like for the monsters they fight. What if they start to go that direction?
It'd be interesting if they did something like that.
I guess I should note too. Like Guyver was something that I would consider myself like a tangential fan of. Like I've seen the anime they did in the 2000s, and like through these movies, just like general stuff I know. The way I've always heard the Guyver referred to as, it's like one of the first like manga that was made after like Toku was on TV for a while, and there was a guy who was actively like, oh, I want to do this, but like go further with it. Like it's one of the first like second generation like Toku property things. So, like, thinking about it that way, like, I'm just kind of curious thinking about it in relation to what we've seen, you know?
Oh, yeah.
With, like, the aliens aren't... Like, the aliens have infiltrated, I guess, is kind of, like, the angle they take with them more. Like, they're here, they're the corporations, like, you know... Mankind isn't special, we're sheep, sort of thing. And, like, I'm just... What the fuck does Ultraman do with that, you know? Like, in contrast. I'm excited to get there.
Yeah. It's definitely a weird spot for Ultraman, just because, you know, there isn't, like, a mainline show, like a 50-episode mainline show between, like, 80 and 96. But there's a bunch of other weird stuff happening in the gap there, so...
I just typed Mark Hamill the Guyver into YouTube. Top result, Mark Hamill death scene. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. I would probably the most well-known scene from this movie for obvious reason. I mean,
absolutely. It's the best bit.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I like that. I like him cutting himself out of the guy after he's fully regrown.
Yeah. To be honest, I think the suit itself is just kind of the best bit. It's so good. I love this suit so much.
Half of the $3 million budget probably wanted to make that thing look as good.
Does this make sense to me if I think that like MC whatever's monster form feels racist?
Oh, it is. It absolutely is.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, like I don't have an image of it right now, but I'm sure if I was looking at it, yes. But he is also the one where they keep most of his like clothing and accessories to constantly remind you, oh, look, it's the funny black guy.
Yes, they do.
The other ones they don't do that with.
Yeah.
And also just the rapping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he raps as his endearing character trait. How could I forget?
It's the rapping's really bad. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's aggressively bad rapping. So yes, I would definitely say the monster design is also racist. Yeah. Unless we have anything more to say about the Guyver, we might be done talking about it. I'm not sure.
I was happy I got the chance to revisit it. Like I said, I think this is the best time I've had with it after having ingrained in my head since childhood, this is the one that has Mark Hamill in it, but aside from that, who gives a shit, because the second one's there. Re-experiencing it, I think for the first time, maybe even as an adult. No, that's not true, but first time in probably a decade. I'm no, this first one, there's some stuff here. It was a fun watch, mostly. So, I'm happy I got the chance to. And also, too, more, one, happy I got the chance to revisit childhood classic of mine. Two, happy I got to revisit it with, greater context of, where this thing came from and, the genre space it's working in. And seeing, I guess, also, too, in a way, what's the American take on this when we finally start to, play in that space, too?
Yeah.
After Japan's been doing it for decades.
Mm-hmm. Found video called
I
Mark
forgot.
Hamill falling down the stairs in the Guyver.
The falling down stairs is funny.
It's a really unconvincing fall. He's fully stood up at one point during the fall and just kind of has to lean back.
This is so good.
I think I remember at the start of the movie, the professor was like, "It's you," and the sub boss was like, "Yeah, it's me."
Yeah. I didn't know. I had completely forgotten which one of these had David Hayter in it, so I was prepared for a completely different man to show up.
No, that's
in
two.
this movie. Yeah. That's two. I'm looking forward to 2 a lot.
Another funny moment I remember is just the boss getting instead of the Guyver, he gets the toaster.
And he burns toast later.
Yes.
How do you burn toast that badly from one pull down of the toaster?
It's foreshadowing that he's an alien somehow. He doesn't know how
understand how toasters
I don't
work.
think it's even
He's
foreshadowing.
the
It's explained in the opening crawl that he's an alien.
Yeah.
But they've been living here. Why? He's right. Okay. I've said that we're kind of done talking about this movie. No, we're not. Why are they so weird? They live here. They've been living here all this time.
They've made humans, but somehow
they created us. Yeah.
They created humanity. They watched us grow. They've lived alongside us, but also they act like they arrived last week. They dress so funny. I really love the bald guy. I think he is very good at being a kind of strange dude. But I have to wonder why they're all being strange guys anyway, because they live here. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
We're putting more thought into it than...
I can't remember exactly, but I do think the sequel is about some of this stuff, actually.
Oh, good.
We get more alien lore.
One day we'll have to watch the anime to get more answers.
Of course. God. Anyway, that was the Guyver.
Yeah.
The 1991 movie adapted from the manga Bio Booster Guyver. We got the Guyver 2 in 2 weeks.
Guyver 2 Dark Hero.
Yes.
Dark Hero.
Also known in the Philippines as Predator 3, by the way.
What?
Yup. In the Philippines, they're just this is the third Predator movie, don't worry about it.
Oh, I can't wait for that story.
I don't know if there is one. I think that's just it. In the Philippines, they were just it's Predator 3.
Convinced this movie inspired Power Rangers.
Yeah, convinced.
God.
Mal, we moved past Ultraman, but do you have some color?
Yeah, I got 2, because we only did 2 episodes.
Go for it.
Episode 7 is 2 minutes 42 seconds. And episode 8 is 4 minutes 37 seconds.
One L, one W.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any emails?
We have one email.
We have one. We got so many emails lately.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
What the? Hold on, wait. Hold on.
Do we maybe not have an email?
No, we had
Was it
one.
spam?
I just accidentally clicked the archive button.
You deleted the email?
Oh wait.
No. Archive is not
I
deleted.
know,
You
I
can
know.
find.
Where-
You can
where
find
is
the.
it?
You can
Where
find
is
the
it?
archive.
All mail. All mail. How do you un? Okay, hold on.
There should be an archive. Let's see.
Move to inbox.
Chuck one day can help you with taking down archives.
Shut the fuck up. Okay.
The moment in an AMCA Q&A where they realize the canon ending of Jar Jar Binks is that he was a clown. He became a clown that everyone hates. And the AMCA are rightly like, that's weird. That's weirdly vindictive and sucks. Why does this suck so much? And Austin Walker's delivery on this was canonized in this book, which is a Chuck Wendig novel.
I need to get
I
to
need
it.
to fucking listen to that podcast so bad.
I've been listening to it. It's been good. Like I don't
watch it?
Yeah, I don't watch the show, but it's fine.
Maybe I should just do that. I think I might be convinced at this point. I don't want to watch those.
I think I just don't have it in me to watch all of that Star Wars. I just think it's more interesting hearing them talk about it.
I see. Here's the thing. I do if it didn't look like that.
Yeah. So sometimes I hear them talk about it, I'm like, damn, I could be convinced, but then I'm like, it's a fool's errand.
Stay strong.
Anyway.
Stay strong. I'm watching the Star Wars. But I'm me. I've been there since day one. I do not have catching up to do.
Did they ever do Did they ever do fucking? I almost said Tarkovsky. How do you say his name again? Oh my god.
They have not done his Clone Wars yet.
Okay.
I'll tell you what they have done instead, though. They have done 2 Clone Wars audio dramas.
Oh.
Are they going to do the cartoon at some point?
One of which, Dooku Jedi Lost, is very important.
Okay.
Foundational text for a more civilized age.
Okay.
I do need to check this out now. I think is that on the main feed or Patreon? The audio stuff.
That's on the Patreon.
Ah, fuck. Well, you know what? I recently I was cleaning out my Patreon subs and I felt bad because I unsubbed from Friends at the Table just because I wasn't actually listening to that stuff. But maybe I'll give it back in a different way to the Austin Walker Patreon creative network that does exist. So. Anyways, did you find that email?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
This is a short one.
We're so good at our job.
We are.
This is a short.
I forgot why we were vamping.
Anyway, this is from Mothra fanboy.
Hello, Mothra fanboy.
I wonder what movie Mothra fanboy likes.
Godzilla.
I recently shared that screenshot of Keiji Sakara going, Mothra gave you power of attorney, and it blew up.
Yeah.
That's such a good moment from that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway. After watching all the Godzilla and Gamera movies, it took too long, but it was worth it. I decided to start tackling the Ultra series. I watched the first episode of Ultra Q, loved it, and decided to spend the rest of my life watching the shows. Then I found your podcast.
Same.
My bad. Then I found your podcast. It is very good. I look forward to listening every time I finish episodes. As of writing this, I finished Ultra Q, parentheses, Peak Media, and I am 10 episodes into Ultraman.
Not so much.
Yeah.
But you know, there's some bangers in there. 10 episodes into Ultraman. You're kind of through. Well, no, you've still got lots of mid and bad to go. But you've got all of the true bangers. Are still you've yet to hit them. You have yet to meet Akio Jisoji.
Yeah.
And his distinctive style, like in the Pearl episode.
Like in listen, the Pearl. You're gonna get to the Pearl episode. You're gonna be like, is this really as cool a guy as everyone says he is? Yes, he is. Just wait.
Yeah.
Megalopolis had a quote that kind of made me think about Jisoji. Actually,
Okay.
there's a part where
Not the last Megalopolis.
no, the recent Megalopolis where someone goes, a woman does something, then another woman goes, funny thing about the term womanizer. Nobody ever puts the blame on the woman. And I was like, Jesus Christ. But that feels like something Jisoji would say.
That movie sounds evil. Anyway.
He's our evil guy.
They also have a question. If you could have any Ultra Cube kaiju as a pet, who would it be? Keep in mind, they're still kaiju size. Thanks for reading.
Ooh.
Peter.
Okay. A pet.
For me, it's Peter.
Oh, Peter's...
Peter's a slam
Peter's
dunk.
perfect.
Yeah.
Peter's fantastic for that. Is this specifically Ultra Cube?
Yes.
Okay. Not the balloon.
See, a lot of
bird.
a lot of these I have questions about my ability to control.
Yeah. You can't stop Pegula from going out to find Jun to have a rivalry with him.
You can't.
Am I categorically evil if I say the 1/8 humans? I think that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That is just evil.
Yeah.
That's a person.
I think the show demonstrated you can't keep Litra as a pet.
Which one was Litra?
The first bird in fights Gomez.
Oh yes. That was the. The other bird though you can keep as a pet for a while.
My answer is
You
the
can throw
train.
it into the ocean too.
My answer is the
train.
train.
Not the monster on the train, not the weird guy. Oh, the turtle.
No, yeah, the turtle's a good one too.
Oh yeah, the turtle would be a good one actually.
It's got indicators. It's
It's
got a speedometer.
Yeah, there's speedometers.
Yeah. I think that's a good selection of pets from Ultra Q.
Yeah. You ever think about how we just don't talk about Shin Ultraman anymore?
Well, we'll have to eventually.
Yeah. The longer I am away from the Shin trilogy, truly the only one of those I ever think about is Shin Godzilla.
I still think about Mephiles, but that's just he's just special.
That is true.
That's one of my favorite sayings.
Someone reminded me this week that he was like, "Shall I take the bill, Ultraman?" Should we split the bill?
Yeah. They were in another life boyfriends. Thank you for your email.
Thank you.
Presumably, you'll get to this eventually. Maybe you're going as fast as Aaron, maybe not, but we'll see.
Don't. Generally speaking, some people are built for it. Some people are not.
Go at your own pace.
Go at your own pace. If you're built for it, listen. I was once like that too. Did I told you? I sometimes talk about how Naruto was how I got into anime.
Yes.
Let me tell you how quickly I watched Naruto.
Oh God, how?
Oh, no.
It was, I can't remember the exact pace, but at some point I was like, I could get the rest of this done in like 2 years if I watched like an episode every day. And then I was done in like 3 months or something.
Jesus Christ.
Or like shorter. I can't remember, but it was like...
Did you watch the filler too?
Okay. I was new to anime. I was unfamiliar with the idea that Naruto would have filler.
Oh no.
I watched all of the Naruto filler up to... At some point I found out what filler was. Because I was like, this doesn't feel real. And then I looked it up and turned out it wasn't real. And then I started skipping filler. But I did not start skipping filler until like... the Ninja War. And here's the thing. At some point I caught up and I wasn't skipping filler anymore because that was the episode that was airing this week. So I watched all of the Kakashi Anbu backstory filler.
I remember turning on Adult Swim one night when they were like re-airing, because like they re-aired Shippuden and all that stuff or whatever when Toonami came back in like the 2010s or whatever. There's just some fucking episode of Shippuden, I'm pretty sure, where it was like a flashback to like young Naruto and Sasuke, and like they were handcuffed together the whole time. And I was like, what are they doing?
Listen, the TV people know. The TV people know. The TV people know about Naruto and Sasuke. Kishimoto doesn't. He somehow did it anyway. But the TV people know. They know what's up. How many episodes of Naruto? I can't.
Thinking about how the writer of Death Note didn't like how people were shipping L and Light, and so he made
somehow.
So in Platinum End, he made the woman go on a homophobic screed.
Here's the thing. The Death Note anime. They've got what's the guy, the Toku guy you like?
In a way, yeah, he's the writer.
In a way, yeah, he knows. He knows. Feet washing scene. Let's go.
That reminds me that like in around the time Kamen Rider's Geo was airing, because that's like a Hasty Rider anniversary show where they bring back all the old riders. They did a mini series for Ryuki called Rider Time Ryuki, which is like bring back guys from Ryuki for like a mini series to do like a kind of epilogue kind of thing, side story for the show. And that was written by Inoue, even though he didn't write Ryuki. And inexplicably, he made two characters who never interact in the original show have gay sex.
Excellent. What a hero.
Fascinating.
What a fucking king. Listen. Some people simply deserve to be nepo babies. That guy is one of them.
It's really good.
He was born for this. He was. What a dude.
I still
anyway.
think about how his dad invented structure.
Yes. Invented sensible toku structure.
I'm now questioning whether I should just show you this scene out of context.
I'm going to watch Ryuki at some point, so probably not.
Okay. You can watch it later.
Ryuki is foundational for Urabuchi fans, so I do have to watch Ryuki at some point.
Yes.
I don't know what we're talking. Goodbye. This episode's ended.
Yeah,
plugs. You can follow us at Ultra_Q on Twitter. That is at Ultra_QUEUE. Or on Blue Sky at UltraQ. That is at UltraQUEUE.
I should probably start putting that in the description as well. Blue Sky. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm at Dear Crowns on both Twitter and Blue Sky. We got an email, ultraqpod@gmail.com. And we have a Coffee, UltraQ Fund. Subtitles, we'll figure it out. Hopefully something's figured out with that.
Yes, there's progress.
Yeah, like
maybe
Mutual Mind,
the Ultraman.
Mutual Mind Mako, who's an editor on a big YouTube channel, Marco Satsu, put out a video that was like explaining the situation, like, hey, this fucked. And then the guy who is sort of like in charge of the Western Ultraman license and figuring that shit out saw it and was like, yeah, we'll look into this. So hey, that's something.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm a man who is very critical of fandom as a concept and what they get up to. Sometimes that shit pays off.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
We got 6 months until we get to that show, so it remains to be seen the state of things when we get there, and so we'll figure out something.
If given the prospect of updated subs relatively soon, I would say we skip it for now.
Yes, especially for me, I'm very interested in that one for reasons. So
reasons, huh?
Yes, which I'm sure you know, Mel, but
I actually don't. Or I forgot it.
Oh, okay. Then maybe I'll keep this in my back pocket.
Okay, it'll be more fun then. But yeah, we'll figure something out as we're closer. We still have Leo to get to, and if they announce something in the next, if they announce something during the time we're covering Taro and Leo, we'll be able to make a more definitive decision. Just be like, okay, we have more of a date, and then we can figure something out of that. But we'll see.
Yeah. All right. That has been. Oh, Brad, do you have plugs?
Yeah.
You're no plugs, no YouTubers here. We disrespect.
Well, it's okay.
Yeah, Brad,
I had a career change.
plug your channel.
You can find me in the Zoanoid archives at Be Invoked. That's BE_INVOKED on Twitter. You can find me on Blue Sky. I think that's just Be Invoked, all one word. I don't fucking remember. It's Brad. You can find me. It shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah.
Chibi Near Icon. And also my YouTube is also Be Invoked. I'm hopefully in the last stages of being sick, but if you are somehow listening to this and will be attending Roundhouse, the tournament happening in Illinois for fighting games, next weekend, which is also why I will not be on the podcast next time around too. You know, I'll say hi. Hit me up. We can play some games. But I kind of doubt it. Anyone listening to this will be there, but in case you are.
Next week.
All right. Yeah, next week we just got 3 more episodes of Ultraman Taro, not the Guyver. The Guyver will be coming the week after.
Yeah, Brad's here. Yeah.
When I'm back.
And then at some point after that, we'll figure out how the fuck we're gonna do Arc because we're behind.
Yes, we are very behind. On
I have
Arc.
a lot of that show to watch.
Me too, but don't worry. I don't think we should watch all of it for the next time. We'll keep.
No,
pace.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
We'll keep our batches and just do
we'll
them
just
a little quicker.
figure out a good schedule for it.
We also got a Mirror
Okay.
Man to finish up.
Maybe one week we should think of.
Oh, we never finished that
Yeah.
show. That's right.
No.
Maybe one week we'll have to do like another skipping detour week. But I don't know.
Almost like that show should have been half as long.
Well, I will tune in to watch whatever that guy Kagami to watch Kagami beat up some guys.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
The aliens hired a kaiju to kill this man. All right, goodbye. We will see you next week. 3 more.
I believe that's
episodes of
actually
Ultraman
a plot in Mirror Man when it's like a joke in Taro.
Taro. Yeah. We're done here.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Fuck off.
Later. I have a job for you, by the way.
ウルトラ父の教え子